Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. A little bit past, it's actually right at 8 p.m. on the East Coast. I know it's late and I haven't been on for 2 days. And you're probably saying, Larry, why haven't you been on for 2 days? Two things happened. I had a couple events I had to go to. And believe it or not, I had a bit of a fall and I sprained both of my ankles. I know, kind of weird, but I did sprain both my ankles and put me up for a little bit, but that's okay. Didn't stop me from going to my events. I hobbled around, did it anyway, didn't care. But I'm now here with you. I'm still here. I am still tough old bird, and still here rocking and rolling with you guys. So yes, it worked anyway. So very happy to have you guys here tonight. And there were so many things I wanted to bring up because the days that I wasn't on, like as usual, everything happened. So I thought, what do I even bring up today? In fact, because of what happened, I'm going to do a show tonight, another show tomorrow, another one on Sunday, because I can't do an AMA until Sunday because I got too many things to talk about this week. So much stuff went on. Some of you probably still want to talk about it. I get it. I'll do an AMA on Sunday. So anything I miss, we can cover on Sunday if you want. So I'm doing all of those to make sure I keep going. I've been falling behind. I know, but I am here. So in any case, I am here. And what did I want to talk about? Well, whenever I have a choice on what I could talk about, what do I want to talk about? My own state, New York State, yes. And boy, is New York just giving me so much to talk about. And I thought Trump was bad throwing stuff at me that I've got to keep talking about. Well, him too, but he's thrown a lot at New York. Yes, Trump and Hochul are throwing things at each other. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm like, okay, let's do that. It's okay. So in any case, I do want to bring up Kathy Hochul talking about what I happen to love, Trump deciding that no more congestion pricing in New York City. For those you don't know, it is absolutely, in New York, we have congestion pricing now, the first and only one in the entire country. And we have done that now. Why? We've done that now because Kathy Hochul decided that we should do it now. And the entire show on why it's bogus, why they're actually doing it. Yep. It wasn't because she cares, none of that stuff, but she did it. And here's the worst part. To do congestion pricing in New York, for some reason, you have to have federal guidelines. Why do you have to have federal guidelines? Probably because you want federal money. That would be my assumption. Yet again, you shouldn't, in theory, require any federal money or federal anything for congestion pricing. Why would you? There's no need. It's all being done in New York City. In theory, just New York State should handle it. Theoretically, even the city could, but the city, sadly, for most people, covers 5 separate boroughs. Those are actually considered counties. So therefore, it very often becomes a governor issue, which is fine. I buy that too. No. The feds are involved. And Trump said, no, you can't do that. What we are learning from what Trump has been doing, and I know some of you don't like Trump. I know some of you love Trump. I'm going to give you, from my libertarian point of view, what I'm very happy about. We are actually seeing how much each state relies on the federal government for everything. How much the federal government relies to feed our kids, to put them to school, to build our bridges, to build our roads, to have congestion pricing. Why does every state, why is it so controlled by the federal government? I hear all the time, why do you care about the federal? This is the reason why. Whether you like or hate either one, whether you like or hate congestion pricing, why is the federal government involved? Why? Yes, it should not be. So let me grab a couple comments before I jump onto her amazing press conference. It's a Fridays with Kathy. If those guys don't know why I do Fridays with Kathy, why it's always the day with Kathy, I'm going to give you a little bit of the lore. Is that the right word? The lore? There was a book many years ago called Tuesdays with Maury. It was a very good book. I read it. And it was about a guy who found out he was going to die. He had a disease that was take a very long time to pass. And so he was trying to live his life and have all the cool things before he passed away. He actually did a eulogy before he died. He had a funeral before he died. He brought people together. And the author of the book went and saw him every Tuesday. And he wrote a book called Tuesdays with Maury. Well, back in the day when Cuomo was still the governor, I used to do a show every Tuesday, which would be about Cuomo. So I called it Tuesdays with Andy off of that. That's why I did that. But Andy's gone now. So now I have Kathy. So I just do Kathy and I don't do it Tuesdays. So it's whatever day with Kathy. That's why I call it that, in case you guys are interested in why that happens. That's the lore behind it. So a couple comments if I could. Over on Instagram, it's Era, is it Era Schlein? Era Schlein 19, I'm not sure, whatever. I'm gonna call you ERA Schlein. How about that? Says Trump isn't going to end Hochul, he's going to end a Democratic rule in New York State. I don't think that's true, Era Schlein. I don't think that's true. And why I say it is, while Trump is being, it's Eric Ashline. Okay, thank you. That's what it is. Thank you. Eric Ashline. Thank you. He just corrected himself. So what I think he's doing is he's casting some doubt, that's for sure. And he may harm Hochul, maybe. But if you look right now what's happening in New York State, it's still almost 3-1 Democrat to Republican. And Democrats are still leaving. So you have to get a whole lot of Republicans to come back, or a whole lot of Democrats to leave, or a whole bunch of Democrats to become Republicans. That's not easy. That's not easy. So I get what you're saying. I think he can impact it, but swapping this state going to be tough. Joel over on Rumble says, the Democrat Party needs to reassess and redirect. They're on the wrong course, without question. You are totally right, Joel. Why would I care, right? Why would I care if the Democratic Party is on the wrong track? Because right now, sadly, the only way you can create competition is Republicans, Democrats. Hopefully one day we'll change that. I have been trying for years, but at the moment, that's what it is. And when you have one party rule, no matter what, it's not good. New York State is that. To Eric's point, New York State is run by one party, Democratic rule. The Republicans in this state often just surrender. That's how that works. We don't want a country to where Republicans run everything and Democrats just surrender. We want a back and forth. We want with sane people, though, but we do want a back and forth. We do want that. So, Joel, you're correct. That's why I've given advice to Democrats. You heard me say it. They're not listening. But I've given them advice because I would like them to be able to fight. Because if you have single party rule, they will eventually, because of human nature, simply go too far. That's what will happen. Yes. Morgan says we have a better chance of turning New York purple or gold than red. Accurate statement. Accurate statement. You are correct. Absolutely. So, guys, before I move on to this, I want to make sure if you haven't clicked the button known as like, I don't know why you hate the children. You clearly hate the children. You do. If you don't click the like button. So love the children and click the like button, the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please do so. If you have not shared already, please share it now. It does matter. If not subscribed on YouTube, please do so. And when you do, don't forget to click that all notifications button when you subscribe to it so you get all of the notifications. If you have not followed me yet on Facebook, X, and Rumble, I guess you really do hate the children. Otherwise, do it. It does matter. If you want your chat to go right to the front, super chat me on YouTube or rant me on Rumble. Either of those two, doesn't matter. Comes right to the front. Grab it right away. I also try to focus on members to the best of my ability. So please click that join button on YouTube. It is $49 per month. Click the join button. The more members we have, the less I have to worry about getting a sponsor. Because I'm now considering getting a sponsor because I have to work so much every day. I'm late to half of these shows now because I'm working trying to pay my bills. So I gotta get, you want to hear me talk about sponsors? I could do that. Or more, you guys could become members. Either one would work. Either one. I can go hawk some stuff, whatever. I'm good at it. I could do that too. Also possible. So click that membership button or the subscribe button over on Rumble during the live. Either of those does work. So, all right, let me, if I could, I'm going to give you this. This was enjoyable for me. And I know some of you don't enjoy this that much, but boy, do I enjoy it. Watching her get angry, watching Her Majesty, Queen Kathy I, first of her name, banisher of conservatives, forcer of the jab, watching her get upset. I do like it. It's true. I'm petty sometimes. I try not to be. I do. Sometimes I'm petty, just being forward.
At 1:01 p.m. today.
What happened?
The U.S. Department of Transportation emailed us a letter.
Okay.
From Secretary Duffy.
What did it say?
Announcing their attempt to end the congestion pricing program in the state of New York.
Note what she said. Their attempt, because she's going to stop it. She is the warrior that Democrats need right now. Is her. She's the one Full of charisma. That's the one.
At 1:58 p.m.
Yeah, what happened?
President Donald Trump tweeted, "Long live the king."
So let's be clear. Someone sent something to her, and the first thing she thought of, which is what Democrats have been doing for the past 10 years with Trump, 2015 is when he first started, is go right to insult. Not say, here is why Trump is wrong, and here is why we are right. No. That isn't the first spot, which is what you should do, right? If you believe in your system, when Trump says the thing, you go, and Trump is wrong, and let me tell you why he's wrong, boom, boom, boom. And let me tell you why it's working for us, XYZ. This is our answer. No. He said something. He's a king. That's the response. I'm not joking. You just saw that.
I'm here to say.
Tell me what you're here to say.
New York hasn't labored under a king in over 250 years.
Okay, that's not true. We just had a king like 5 years ago. It was King Cuomo II, second of his name, grabber of butts. That was him. Forcer of jabs, just like she is. Forcer, closer of business, killer of the elderly. That's who he was, right? Each of our monarchs has to have many titles, obviously, right? So, but he was King Cuomo II. So we just had one. Now we have a queen, Queen Kathy, first of her name. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, she's jelly. She's jealous. She's like, I'm the monarch, not you. That's what it is. Okay, it makes sense at least. We're clapping. You're the queen. You're the queen. Yes, you are.
In case you don't know, New Yorkers, we're in a fight. We do not back down. Not now, not ever.
Okay. I wish that was true. And for those of you who have lived in New York City in the past, and maybe even live in it now, who are watching or listening, do you remember back in the 70s and 80s? That was kind of true. New Yorkers were the ones who would be like, hey, I'm walking here, fighting, angry, mad. That's who we were. That was true. It's not anymore. What broke us? Two things in a row broke us after the worst thing. The worst thing that began to break us a little bit was 9/11. We got together, but then we began to break a little bit. That was very tough on us as New Yorkers. Right after that, the crash, 2009 crash. That really beat us up. That stopped making us think, wait a minute, are we as strong as we thought we were? Because a lot of people got hurt in that, me included. A lot of people did. And then the lockdowns. The lockdowns destroyed this state. Whatever backbone this state had, as a group, I mean, particularly the city, more the city than anything else, but particularly the city, whatever backbone this city had, broken. And the people who were brave packed up and left. They said, you know what? I'm brave, I'm leaving. And what's left over is a small percentage of brave people, a big chunk of people who no longer care and are checked out and just can't wait to leave, and a huge chunk of sheep. That's what's left. And I hate to say it, it's my state. I love my state. I'm being forward. You can see it. They're all clapping. Yeah, we're awesome. And we're just waiting for you. We're not doing anything. Yeah, it's tough. We're in a tough spot now. They're wearing masks. Look at them. Yes, this is the tough, hardcore New Yorkers. We're wearing masks.
Because who are we fighting for here?
Who are we fighting for?
Fighting for our residents.
Are we?
Our commuters.
Those are the people who are paying the fees and fines. You are paying. The people who are paying up and people you're fighting. We're fighting so that you can pay us more money. That's what you just said. Wow.
Our riders, our drivers, our emergency personnel. Life has gotten better. Even those who have asthma, people with illness. That's who we're fighting for.
Yeah. You go have to pay because I got asthma. I don't know what's going on.
6 million people who use the MTA to get to their jobs and their lives and their doctor appointment. Nurses, doctors, EMTs, all the people we need to get to their jobs in a reliable way. There's now going to be a...
Note, every one of those are government employees run by government because that's all she cares about. I don't mean to be cruel, but if you don't work for like healthcare run by government, school system run by government, fire department run by government, police department run by government, if you don't work for that, she doesn't care about you. I don't mean to be mean or flippant, but she doesn't care. What they always say, what did they say? Stockbroker? Did they say sales rep? Did they say Uber driver? Did she say Customer service rep. Did she say any of those? Entrepreneur. Any of those? No. It's just the people who are government, because they're the ones who are important, and they're the ones, in her eyes, I'm not joking, they make the city run. Did she say restaurateur? Did she say server? Did she say, cashier at the bank? No, those people don't matter. What she said was government workers, because in her eyes, they're the only ones that matter. I wish I was joking. I'm not. Listen to her speak. When have you ever heard her say anything other than those people? That's all she ever talks about. That's all she thinks is important. If you're not that, you're not valuable. Now, to be clear, those people are valuable, but not more valuable than anybody else. Everybody who's got a job, who's paying their bills, is important. Whether those bills come from a government job, a hospital job, or a customer service job, or a jewelry store, I don't care. If your job is paying your bills, it's important. If you're paying tax to our system, you're valuable. Done. I don't care where it comes from. She doesn't see that. She does not see that.
Affected. So I also have to raise a question.
She's going to wait a question. Okay. Daniel, thank you for the 99. I look forward to the next full shop happening next week, by the way, guys. Next week, not this weekend, next weekend, I'm heading back upstate New York. I'm doing a full shop. Thank you, Daniel. I'll be doing, I think, 7 stops, I think, 6 stops. I forgot how many. So around 6 stops I'll be doing next weekend, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday around New York State. Yes, I am back to do the full shop yet again. Number 7. Can you believe it? 7 times around this state. Not going to stop. You always wonder, Larry, how do you know so much about this state? Because I travel it every single year. So yes, thank you for that, Daniel. I appreciate that. That's you remembered, and I appreciate it. And I will be going. I'll be posting the details of it coming up over this weekend. I'll post the details so you'll know for next weekend. I'll post it this weekend.
If they look at the pretext for this rejection.
Ooh, rejection.
We have a lot of legal reasons why we know we're going to be victorious. But they actually cited the will of New Jersey.
Yes.
I want to buy your house.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I did not realize that I have the wrong one up. I do apologize here. Hold on. That should not have happened. You guys have enough of them. You don't require any more of them at all. Hold on. Let me grab this. All right. Now, my mistake, guys. I do apologize for that. I will swap that right now and make it better. I am just human. And I do sometimes click the wrong one. I now have the right one. And here we go.
I also have to raise a question. If they look at the pretext for this rejection, and we have a lot of legal reasons why we know we're going to be victorious. Mm-hmm. But they actually cited the will of New Jersey.
Yes. Yeah. Now, if it's in New Jersey, how about New Jersey people come over and pay them tolls? Oh, yeah. You don't like that. Joel over on Rumble says, Kathy's going to unleash Tish James on Trump again. Yes. I've told you. A lot of you think, why is she not afraid? She's not afraid. She has her knight. She's the queen, and she has her knight. Her knight is the Kingslayer. Tish James is her knight. That's our AG. She will send her Kingslayer out to slaughter the kings. That's what she does. Tish got Cuomo, and Tish got Trump convicted 34 times. That's Kingslayer. Yeah, absolutely. Matt is teasing me. He says, Larry said, F a sponsor. I'm going to play YouTube ads. Well, one way or the other, Matt. I mean, you're a member, so thank you. So you're good. So I'm going to try not to punish you guys anymore. I appreciate the members, so I'm trying to do that if I can. So, yes. Liberal Lady says, I hope you get some good pics or videos of the content while you're on the road. I do. For those who don't know when I'm on the road, I know this is a little bit off. I know. But when I go on the road, I don't always know if it's realistic for me to make it live, right? I don't know if I can do it, if I can make it live always. Why? Whenever I go on the road, if any of you are in New York State or in the area, whenever I go out, I always go to privately owned places. I don't go to chains or things like that. It's always a locally owned place. And you do not have to at all pay to see my events unless I do a specific fundraiser, which is I tell you, it is a fundraiser, pay dollars for a fundraiser. Unless I tell you that, it is not that. You can just come. Here is what I ask you to do. And many of you have gone. please just buy something from the facility that you were in. Whatever, buy a cup of coffee if you can. If you can afford a meal, please buy a meal. If you can't, buy a soda, whatever. It's usually a diner or a restaurant. Sometimes it's a gun shop, so you probably can't buy anything there. But if you can, please buy something there if you could. Could be a vape shop. Doesn't matter. It's a place that's local that I'll show up and I'll spend about an hour or so there, and I'll make some kind of presentation and I'll just talk and take questions and answers, and we'll talk about stuff. It's what I do. So yes. So if it's possible, I will then go live. I'll have a little tripod there, put the phone up, and I'll do it live if possible. Sometimes if I don't have a separate room, I don't want to punish the other people who are out there who came to, whatever, eat or something. They don't want to hear my stuff, right? I don't want to punish them. Unless the owner says, and sometimes they say, I don't care what they think, do it. My customers get over it. That does happen sometimes, right? So particularly in places like cannabis shops, vape shops, like I don't care what my people think, you do it. So I'll do it often there. But they don't always have good Wi-Fi. So anyway, whenever I can, I try to make it to where anyone can go, anyone can see me, and you don't have to pay anything unless you want to. I mean, if you want to come and buy a bunch of stuff from the person there, please do so. And sometimes we're a gun shop and people will buy a bunch of stuff for their firearms, because they're there, which is good. I'm trying to support local businesses. It does happen sometimes. So, and every once in a while I do have someone who will show up, who's like a customer and goes, oh, what are you talking about? And new people will come. And sometimes I get yelled at. People do show up to yell at me sometimes, or people hear what I have to say, don't like it, and yell at me. That does happen sometimes. So anyway, let's keep going.
New Jersey didn't want this.
Yeah.
Ignoring the will, the people live here, they're elected leaders in Albany, and all of a sudden, the Trump administration is citing, well, New Jersey wasn't happy.
Okay, it's not all of a sudden. To be forward with you, Trump said he did this a long time ago and did. And it does, you need to help or whatever because you wanted the cash and because New Jersey, so he gets to say no.
I will talk about that later. But here's what I want to also say. I don't care if you love congestion pricing or hate it.
Okay.
This is an attack on our sovereign identity, our independence from Washington. And this is...
You guys hear that? She became a libertarian. Damn. That's the best part about Trump. He makes Democrats libertarians. That's amazing. Maybe I don't have to run after all. She's libertarian now. She's all about localism all of a sudden. All of a sudden she's about localism. Damn, okay.
We are a nation. We are a nation of states. This
is that
what
right?
We fought for.
We fought for. She was fighting for it.
People like Alexander Hamilton and others fought for to set up a system. We are not subservient to a king or anyone else out of Washington.
Okay, let me be very clear about something, all right? We're not subservient to that king. We're subservient to me, the queen. That's what she really means. So let's get that straight. That's all.
So this is the fight we're in. It's all about our sovereignty.
Sovereignty. I love sovereignty.
Many times.
Sovereignty is just like infantry, but it was sovereign people. Sovereignty. That's what it's about.
In a reasonable way, calm way.
Or is that a kind of tree? Hold on, sovereignty. Is that like infantry that was sovereign people? Or is that an actual tree by itself? Like a tree that hangs by itself? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
You're a New Yorker. You know how essential it is to have safe, reliable public transit, or else this system shuts down.
So you know how important it is. You've been running this for like 5 years, and the only thing you could figure out was last year, 4 years into your term, to do congestion pricing, which, by the way, won't raise more than $500 million, and we lose $800 million every year just for fare evasion. You made this up.
Our economy shuts down. The
nation's
economy could shut down.
I want to be clear on this. She's saying if we end, this is what she just said, if we end congestion pricing, the nation's economy could shut down. That's what she just said. I'm not making that up. You heard her words. She said that. Okay, number one, if that's true, why have you done nothing since then? Since except for congestion pricing for the past 5 years you've been in charge, number one. Number two, if it's true, is it that terrible? Shouldn't you be doing something to fix that? If that's our Achilles heel, if that's the shutdown of the entire, she just said it, the entire nation, Why haven't you done something about this? What?
That's how essential we are.
We are so, you guys who don't live in New York City, let me be very clear. If our commuters don't spend $9 a day to come into New York City, whatever it is it 9 for the cheap one, whatever. Don't spend $10 a day to come to the city. You're all screwed. The entire economy is going to shut down. I didn't say that. She did. She literally said that.
And one would think he would know that.
One would think you'd be smart enough, you freaking pores outside of New York City. Don't you know we're better than you? We live in New York City. You think you know that? Freaking pores. She just said that. I didn't make that up. She just said it.
And then you have others involved. I mean, it feels like
she's going off the cuff, which is terrible because, to be very forward, I told you this before, a lot of executives are actually very smart. A lot of them are. Not all, but a lot of them really are actually very smart. She isn't. And she thinks she's like super smart. No, she's not dumb. But compared to many executives, mayors, governors, presidents, many of them are very, very smart. Many of them are. Assemblymen, idiots. Most of them are just total idiots. Average intelligence, if not worse. But usually they're pretty smart. And she thinks that she is. That's the worst part. She thinks she's smarter than she is, and she goes off the cuff. And every time she goes off the cuff, she says stupid shit. She just did now. Literally, you think you pores would know any better. Oh my God, right in New York City, you're all going to die. She just said that's off the cuff for her. She should never go off the cuff. She's terrible off the cuff because she's not bright. She always says dumb stuff. There it is again.
It feels like the commuters of our city,
in
our region,
are
now the roadkill on Donald Trump's revenge tour against New York.
See that? They're the roadkill. Jesus, the commuters who I'm forcing to pay X dollars per day, and he's stopping them from paying X dollars per day. There, he's killing them on revenge. What? So to be clear, she is forcing you to pay in a system that she says if we don't pay, her words, the entire economy will collapse. But Trump's attack, she just makes stop talking. Just stop.
And I have to say this to Secretary
of
Transportation, Sean
Tell
Duffy.
me. What you going to say?
It's not the real world, Sean. It's real life.
She has to insult. Not the real world. She has to insult.
For New Yorkers. And don't you forget that.
Yeah, we're clapping. We want to pay congestion. Wait, what are we saying? What are we saying? Why are we clapping? Because we want to pay. Make us pay. What? That's what's happening right now.
We're in fight mode within seconds of us getting this notification.
Yeah, what happened?
Our MTA was prepared. We knew this could come.
Yeah.
Filed a lawsuit within minutes.
Okay.
I'm very confident we'll be successful.
Okay, we're going to win in the lawsuit.
I also want to say the cameras are staying on. We are
keeping the
cameras on.
We'll keep it again. So to be clear, when Trump says, I don't know if I want to follow what's going on, follow the law, follow this, I don't know, he's evil. When she gets a note that says, you can't have it, we're keeping them on, we're fighting. It's okay when she fights, not okay when the others do. Right? Right? Let me grab a couple comments before I have more. This goes great. Let me grab a couple comments. I'm getting a lot of comments. Let me keep going. All righty. Let me see if I can go down here. Eric Ashland says, she certainly isn't fighting for the CEOs up my way near Dannemora. Yes. For those of you who don't know, I know I did a show on this before. There's literally a corrections officer strike happening across New York State. Dannemora is that there was that movie about Dannemora. It's upstate. I think it's outside of Plattsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's outside of Plattsburgh. I visited it twice, actually. It looks almost like a castle. So I visit prisons often. And yes, absolutely not fighting for them at all. In fact, did I show that one? Maybe I'll show that. That's going to be here too. Hold on. You know what, Eric? She's going to bring that up because she can't help not bring that up. Yeah, absolutely. Because she is getting angry. And so she just yells at people. She doesn't really think very well when it happens. So I do appreciate the back. She's gonna bring it up. I will talk about that too. So yes. Joel says, I like Kathy math where she puts money in my pocket by charging $9 congestion pricing instead of proposed 40% savings. You know what? Valid point, Joel. She saved us all money. It was supposed to be $14, but she started at $9. It will eventually get to 14. I don't know if you know that. Actually, it's going to go to 15 after time. Take some time. It'll get more and more and more. It'll get more expensive. So she's initially saving you money. She will eventually hammer you. But you're right. She's saving you money. That's Kathy math. Nicely done. I do like that. That's good Kathy math. Ryan, thank you for $2. Why are we clapping? Because we're SEALs. Yes. They don't know why they're clapping. Yeah. Pay us more. Why? What? Is that what you said? Yeah, we want to pay more. Can we do $14 now instead? Let's not do let's do lots. Absolutely. 100%. I love that piece. That is so good. So yeah, Morgan says girl math. Yeah, but still. Yeah. Phil says, yeah, Dannemora will be 40 minutes west of Plattsburgh. There we go. Yes. Yeah. I do. Yeah. Morgan says she set the National Guard there. Correct. There's National Guard now. Because that'll work. Yeah, absolutely. John says, like you always say, Larry, if they're clapping, it means they're all getting money from her. This may be her staff. I mean, this may be like MTA staff, or it could be like New York City staff. You're right. Generally speaking, if they're clapping, it's because they're getting paid. We're getting checks. Yeah, usually it's that. Could be vendors, or it could be something else. It could also just be could all just be press that wants access, right? So very often the press will be nice to keep getting access. Matt, thank you for being a member. Larry, can you remind me why New Yorkers like these jokers? Because at the moment, there's several reasons why. The number one reason why the vast majority of cities are blue, and then I go to New York specifically. The vast majority of cities are blue because in most cities, New York, more than any other city on the country, is a transient place, meaning people from all over come into this area. 1/3 of people, give or take, of people who live in New York City aren't born in the country. Another 1/3 aren't born in New York City. So most people in New York City are not born in New York City. So it's very common for people in New York City to say, where are you from? And it's not like, where are you from? It's not that. It's just, where are you from? Because you're probably not from here. That's the odds. When you have that amount of people coming into the city to where in one building or one area, you have people who've been there for 3 weeks, people who've been there for 30 years. There's no united culture. There's no united rules. So what do? We beg for some form of referee. Not just that, we live on top of each other. And I mean that literally, more than any place in the rest of the country. There are parts of Manhattan where 1 square mile, there are 60,000 people, 1 square mile. There's no place else in the country is that way, right? It's that crowded. Not just that, there's UPS routes in New York City that are one building. That's the entire UPS route. One building. They drive to the building, park their car, empty their truck, go back, empty their truck. One building is the entire UPS route. That's how New York City is. So with that, and now they're similar in other cities, not to that level, obviously, but similar to other cities. And in that situation, we're on top of each other, we're crowded, everyone's different. We beg for a referee. What's the easiest referee? Government. Government come in, be the referee. We beg for more government. And it is a common problem throughout most cities in America. I would say probably all cities, and heavily in New York City because we are the largest city in the entire country, the most compact city in the entire country. That's why we are so much that way. So that's why New Yorkers keep going left and asking for more government and becoming more left. It's a common thing. Urbanization became huge after 2008. Why? Because after the crash, there was basically no recovery except in 20 20 American cities. So 80% of all new jobs in 2009 came from 20 US cities. That's how much it was. So outside of the cities, there was kind of no recovery at all. So people flocked to cities. It was the place to go. So that happened. So the country began to shift further left because of that, because of urbanization. That has changed since the lockdowns. The lockdowns changed for two reasons. One, lockdowns made a lot of people who were left think maybe this government thing isn't right. And two, people started leaving cities again after lockdowns. They started moving back into the other areas and being infected by those other areas. So the country has been shifting away from left recently. So I hope that answers your question at least. Now, what happens in the long run because of that? Well, in the long run, you see it in states that are very red and very blue. the opposition party becomes so broken, it's not really opposition anymore, right? And I use the good examples of Utah and Nebraska. Utah and Nebraska are so deep red, Democrats don't even run statewide candidates anymore. They don't bother running them. There's no need to even run a candidate. Why bother? They can't raise the money. They can't win. Utah's 4-1 Republican and Democrats. And the reverse here in New York City, where I live, my area, the Republican Party in my area, for a state, hasn't run a candidate in 10 years. They don't even run a candidate. Why bother? You can't win. The last guy who ran in one of my local elections lost by 70 points, not 17, 7-0, 85-15. So yeah, in New York City, 6-1, Democrats, Republican. So that's why. I hope that makes sense. So what's happening? The Democrats in Utah become incapable. They just don't have the power, the infrastructure, the will, the institutional knowledge to actually fight Republicans. And here in New York City, the Republicans don't have the money, the will to fight Democrats. You just don't have it. It doesn't exist because your infrastructure begins to collapse. So that's how that works. And New York State now is 3-1 Democrat, Republican, soon to be 4-1. At one point, if the things don't change, New York will just become the opposite of Utah. And Republicans will eventually just go, why bother running anybody? Eventually that will happen because they can't raise the money. Eventually. But that's not there. Luckily for the Republicans, Kathy Hochul's terrible. So she has no charisma. She's a bad governor. So the difference is California, at least Newsom has charisma. He's a terrible governor too, but at least he has charisma. Cuomo had charisma. So Kathy doesn't have that. Hochul doesn't have that at all. So anyway, I know I went long on that, but I hope I answered your question at least. So yeah. So, all righty. Liberty Odessa says she's like Kamala off the cuff. Yeah, it's bad. Phil tells a joke, too much congestion. Have we tried Sudafed? I'd rather do that. I would rather do that 100%. Andrea, thank you for being a member also. So the whole country relies on New York City congestion. Correct. She said so. I didn't say that. She did. She said that. So Andrea, I know you don't live in New York, but if we don't have congestion pricing, basically move because it's over. Basically move to Canada because it's over, right? If we don't get congestion pricing here in New York, because that's how it matters. You're right. It's true. Ryan says, Kathy is as inspiring as a root canal. Depending upon the day, I might rather have root canal. Just saying, depending on the day. You're not wrong. Yeah. Alexa says, sovereignty, a form of math? Yes, it's like trigonometry, but with individuals. So it's sovereignty. That's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. It could be that. I like that idea. That's what sovereignty is. It's a type of math. John says, only makes the libertarians in rhetoric, Larry. Accurate statement. It's true. It's true. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yes. Shelley says, watch the signer. Her facial expressions are priceless. Because she's listening to this too. She's listening too. So, yeah, absolutely true. She's listening also. So, all right, let me grab a couple more of these. A little bit. I won't punish you that much, but there's just some good stuff here, and I think you're already enjoying it. I know I am. How happy they are.
Lights,
yeah.
Camera, action. They're staying on.
We're keeping the cameras on.
Last thing I'll say.
We are keeping the cameras on because what we know you want is surveillance. Yeah, surveillance. What? No.
If in some world that they are successful.
Oh, if they are successful, then what?
The next time you're stuck in traffic.
Yeah, what?
The next time your train is delayed.
Yeah.
The next time you're in a flooded station because infrastructure repairs were not made.
Yeah.
I want you to think of this.
Tell me what? Show me something.
Think about this. Next time you're stuck in traffic.
Think about that. And this is the funny part. We've had traffic in New York State for decades. They have been fixing the Van Wyck Expressway, I'm not joking, for decades. That's not an exaggeration. Decades. The 2nd Avenue subway line took decades. I'm not joking. Decades to fix. So was that Trump's fault too? From 20, 30 years ago. We have traffic now. I was just in traffic yesterday. I was in traffic yesterday. Is that Trump's fault? You haven't changed anything. She has now come with an answer. This is the ultimate right now in Trump derangement syndrome. The next time you're in traffic, even though she hasn't changed anything yet. Blame him. Brilliant. At least her TDS is obvious. The next time you're in traffic, it's Trump's fault. The next time there's a flood, she just said that. The next time it's flooded because we didn't build infrastructure. It's Trump's fault. So if you're in traffic, if your subway's late, if it's flooded, Trump did it. And you guys tease me all the time about Orange Man bad. Literally, Orange Man bad. It doesn't matter what happens. It's always Orange Man bad. What's her answer? We'll just have more congestion pricing? You showed us.
Okay. We know where the blame goes?
You know where the blame goes? I'm good now. I can now screw you for the next 10 years. Woo! Got that down because I'll be blaming Trump for a long time.
We have my top 10 reasons why congestion pricing is working.
Okay.
But as someone who's worked so hard, I want to let Jana Lieber tell you why we believe this program is working and why it's essential. Then we haven't taken any questions, and my counsel can explain our legal strategy as well. Thank you very much.
I'm going to go past him. He has been in charge of the MTA forever. He has sucked for years. He still sucks. He's embarrassingly bad. And all they do is praise him and give him more money. And he has sucked for years. And he still sucks. He's just terrible. So, but he's government. So therefore, by default, he's good. That's how they think, right? Oh my God, keep me on cameras. Did you see this? Keep me on cameras. Surveil me, baby. Surveil me more. Wow. Oh my God, this is terrible. These are the tough New Yorkers she talks about.
I see I've been joined by a number of elected officials who've been real champions on this.
Oh, there we go.
We have our council member who's here. Gail Brewer's here. Keith
That's
Powers
why.
is
Okay,
here.
they're all getting paid. They're all getting a cut. Okay, they're all getting a cut. You were right the whole time, John. They're all getting a
I
cut.
have my counsel here, Brian Mahana. If anybody has any questions about our legal strategy, would you like to address that or just wait this? Okay. All right, we're fired up, ready to go. What do you got?
What do you got? I'm ready to go.
We'll take a couple of questions. Ali Bauman back there in the blue, CBS 2.
Yes. See that now I figured out. These are all people who are in the press or people who are getting paid. Okay, you were right, John. That's who it is.
Ali.
Governor Hochul, I wonder if you think that it's a coincidence this letter came on the same day that Mayor Adams was in court over the DOJ trying to remove the case against him, or if you think the Trump administration is trying to send a message in sending this letter today.
I have no clue.
Yes, you do. Stop lying.
All right.
To be forward, Trump did throw Adams under the bus doing this. He's like, yeah, because he's forcing her to do something, right? So Hochul has to do something now, which is the next video.
There's Bernadette Hogan right down in front row, New York 1. See if we can get a mic. Where's Ray? Got a microphone for you.
Okay. Governor, you canceled a meeting with Donald Trump last week. Do you regret doing that, where you could have maybe struck a deal with him? And would you still be willing to strike a deal with him now if he agrees to give the $13 billion or whatever it would be if congestion pricing is turned off?
Oh. So let me ask, is this about the congestion and the traffic and the New Yorkers, or is this about $13 billion? What do you think? Yes. It's always about the cash. Every single time. Every single time. $13 billion in federal funds. There we go. Right there. She just said the quiet part out loud. Look, you want the money, so call up Trump. Say, look, you want the migrants, you can have the migrants. Just give me $13 billion and we'll move on. That's what Eric Adams would have done. Clearly, Eric Adams would have done that. But she should have done it too. Call Trump. All right, I want my money. Uncle Joe just would have given it to me. But Uncle Joe lost the election. Probably Auntie Kamala would have given me the money too, but she's gone. So now all I got is you, Uncle Don. All right, what's the deal? Yes.
Bernadette, there is no connection between me saying to him last week,
Yeah.
the day he invited me to come down to have this conversation, which I have been pursuing, and then 3 hours later, I see on national television that his Attorney General Pam Bondi is now saying she's filing charges against me as governor of New York.
Oh, she does not like that. Why am I so petty? Mike, why am I so petty right now? I shouldn't be. But man, I have been sued off the ballot. I've watched the legal system screw me over, and I lost lots of time, money, and energy. And now they're throwing it at you? Ooh. Yeah, I'm a little petty. It's true. But I am enjoying it. I mean, I got to tell you, yes, I am. Yeah, I'm going to sleep better. Like, I'm going to feel better knowing that she's getting hammered. I do like that. And she's mad. Look at how mad she is. She's suing me. Doesn't she know I'm the queen? How dare her do that? Yeah, how dare her be sued? She's the queen, you peasants. You can't do this to me. Yeah, that's how that is. That's how it is.
I called up the president and said, I'm not coming down tomorrow. I don't know what your plan is. You're going to slap.
So, to be clear, she was supposed to go down and see the president. She canceled on him. So this is the funny part. What is that? What do you think Trump wanted to do? Look, again, I know some of you don't like Trump. I know some of you do like Trump. But we do know who Trump is. He is absolutely transactional. No doubt he's transactional. Whether you like him or hate him, the guy's transactional. That's how he is. We know this. So he wouldn't make a deal. So he brought it down. He probably would have said, look, leave Eric alone. I got him doing what I want with Holman. I'll throw you, I'll throw you $13 million. You can keep your stuff. Just, leave Adams alone. We'll do this. And she got mad because Bondi's going to sue her, right? So she's pissed off because of that. So she said, I'm not coming. And she said, oh, is that right? Well, take that congestion pricing. Bye. And got rid of it because Trump's more petty than I am. I'm petty too. Trump's more petty than I am. So that happened. So she could have fixed this. So to be clear, she could have fixed it. But she said, how dare you? I'm the queen. She let her pride get in her way. And now New York City is screwed. And now $13 billion is not coming anymore. She will have to bend the knee to Uncle Don. And she would never do it. She will never do it. She can't believe it. Yep.
Oh, I don't know what your plan is. You're going to slap handcuffs on my goddamn hands?
Did you hear what she just said? You're going to slap handcuffs on my goddamn hands. That's our governor saying that. She is so pissed off. She is so triggered. And man, do I love it. Yes.
Not coming down, but I will be back later in the week, which would be.
I'll come when I want to, Emperor. When the Emperor calls his vassals, you show. You don't show up, the Emperor will punish you. That's how that works. She knows she's the queen. She don't like it that she has an unfriendly emperor.
This week, when our national governors gather, and he said, that's fine. We'll get together.
Oh, by the way, did you hear him yell at the Maine governor today? Trump yelled at Maine's governor and said, you're getting no federal funds if you don't do what I say. He literally said that. And then he said, and you're not going to win your next election. Like, damn. Okay.
And we'll talk. That's why I know it has no bearing, despite the premise behind the question.
They're absolutely bearing. She's absolutely lying. Absolutely true. Grace says, I hate to say it, but butt-grabbing Cuomo could have handled this FUBAR better, way better. I agree with you on that, Grace. And again, clearly, I am not a fan of Cuomo. But Cuomo was much more pragmatic and had much more charisma. Cuomo would have made a deal with him. That's just what he would have done. Cuomo would have made a deal with Trump. He'd have made some deal. Cuomo would have got his money. You're totally right, Grace. I think we know Cuomo well enough. He might have played some charismatic game on how he did it and said how, he beat Trump or whatever. He might have played some game on and acted like he wrestled Trump over a barrel or whatever Cuomo would have said. He'd have talked some trash. But it doesn't matter. He would have made a deal with Trump. I completely agree. She can't do that. That's not who she is. That's not who she is. She cannot do that. There's no way that she would do it. I completely agree with you.
All right. Hey, no. We got to move on. Bernadette. Mara,
yeah, we got to move on because that makes her look bad. She's triggered. Move on.
I'm not going to stand here and make deals.
Oh, see? I'm not going to stand here and make deals. Boy, she can't help but tell on herself. She just can't. She can't help but self-report. That's a self-report right there. She cannot. She has to. She has to tell on herself. There she is. I'm not going to make deals. I'm the queen. Damn it.
There's one per person who wants to talk to me. I'll see him in Washington.
Governor, have you spoken to the New York City's government right now?
Adam is the elected mayor of New York City. I'm the governor of New York. New York City is
Oh,
a
good. Got it.
subdivision of the state of New York.
Oh,
I also
look how triggered she is. Look, I get triggered too. You've seen me do it. I get triggered too. But you don't see me get triggered because someone attacks me. I get triggered because I think something is wrong, right? That's how I get triggered. I don't get triggered because someone calls me a name, insults me, disrespects me. I show it on the screen. I often laugh at it. I talk through it. Right? I don't get triggered for that. That's the wrong reason to get triggered. I get triggered when something is wrong and I can't fix it, or it's unfixable, or it won't get fixed when it can be fixed. Yeah, I get triggered. That's true. She's triggered because she's personally insulted. Look at how pissed off she is. This is a weak ego. This is a weak ego.
have responsibilities to make sure the services are provided to 8.3 million people that I also represent. I'm not concerned about that. There is a path forward to make sure we stabilize this city and its government. That is
Stabilize.
unrelated to this. I'm happy
Unrelated.
to talk to the president
It's utterly related.
at any time.
I'm happy to the president anytime, except when I get mad and then cancel on him. But see, I'll talk to him anytime, except when I get pissed off personally and cancel on him and then get mad when he smacks me back. I'll smack him, but how dare him smack me back?
And that's, I'll leave it at what was it?
Sorry, do you believe that the president of the United States is trying to hurt New York City and its economy?
I said that I think our commuters are the roadkill on his revenge tour. Yes.
The roadkill on his revenge tour, yes. His revenge tour. No, you blew him off. He struck back. All you had to do was go down there and show up. He would have cut a deal. And again, you can hate Trump and think he's a bad guy. I know a lot of you don't like him. I get it. And to be forward, he's an ass. That's true. Whether you like him or not, he is an ass. That's true. But he always wants the deal. That's who the guy is. Go down there, cut the deal. Just go and cut it. Whatever. And Grace, you are right. You know Cuomo like I know Cuomo. Cuomo went down there and would have made a deal. There's no doubt he'd have made a deal.
Yes, I do.
All right, Ramsey Khalifa back there. Ramsey from Gothamist WNYC.
Mastermind, thank you for being a member, my friend. He says, no self-snitching is the first rule. Yes. You'd think they'd figure that one out, but no, she can't help it. She's so upset. She's so triggered. She can't help it. Mikey over on Instagram says she's on the defensive. Correct. Yep. Mitch Fury says, love to see her mad. Yep. Mikey then goes, so professional, so competent, laughing. Yeah, neither of those things, Mikey. Neither of those things. Yeah, I love it. Neither of those things. Absolutely. All right.
Ramsey.
Governor, are you concerned that this is just the start of more punitive cuts down the road from the president? I mean, what have those conversations been like? Has he mentioned, for example, Penn Station and the future of that?
He hasn't mentioned because she didn't go down there. She never went down there. Right? Now, look, what if I was mayor or governor and Trump was mad at me? Well, hopefully I wouldn't be relying upon so much damn federal money. I've been trying to get rid of that for a long time. But if I would put my pride in my pocket and I would go cut a deal. That's what I would do. I would go cut a deal for my state. Yes.
Facility in that infrastructure.
I'm the one who raised those issues to him. I spoke to him as a fellow New Yorker, as someone who.
As an equal. See that? As a fellow New Yorker. Not as him being president, me being a governor. No, because I'm the queen and he's not better than me.
Knows this city better than any president since FDR. I talked to him about my vision, which could be a shared vision, to make major infrastructure investments here in this great city. Looking at a place like Penn Station and make it be a gorgeous, spectacular place. Expanding the 2nd Avenue subway.
Took 20 years to do.
Up to Harlem so people can get good paying jobs without spending half the day commuting down to Wall Street.
Okay. She should never have to go. First off, Wall Street now, for those who don't know, Wall Street is not where jobs are. People live on Wall Street now. Since 9/11, Wall Street's been collapsing. Most of the banks have moved to Park Avenue. They're not on Wall Street anymore. The only bank on Wall Street I think it's still there is Deutsche Bank, because Deutsche Bank literally owns the building. So they live there. They're there. No one else is there, right? That's not, you literally live on Wall Street now. It's a residential area now. It's called FiDi, which is financial district. That's where you go live. FiDi, you can actually live there. So that's not true. Doesn't take half a day to get from Harlem to FiDi. That's not a thing. You take a bus, which takes a little bit of time. You jump on a subway sometime in Midtown, and you get down to FiDi in maybe half an hour. So it's probably about an hour or so. Yes. So she's literally just making this up because she doesn't know any better. She's the same person who said, remember, oh, there's black kids in the Bronx who don't know what a computer is. That's right. Me and Mike, we're from the Bronx. We're black. We don't know what a computer is because she said so. I don't know. You think I'm doing this on a computer? I am, but I have to have my white friends come over and fix it because I don't know. So my white friends set this all up. That's how I could do it. And they click all the buttons because I don't know. So white people do it for me. I have white friends. They come over. They do it because I'm black from the Bronx. I don't know any better. You think Mike does a show? He can't do it. He's black. He can't do it from the Bronx. He has his white friends come over. And then they do it. So he can. That's the only way. She said that. I'm not making that up. She said that. And now she's saying, if you live in Harlem, it takes you half a day to get to FiDi. It does not. And the jobs aren't in FiDi anyway. There's no jobs there. That's not a thing. She completely has no idea what she's talking about. Never go off the cuff.
I talked about the Interborough Express. Why people from Queens and Brooklyn have to come into the city to go to their.
Do you have any idea how long there is, by the way, a line that goes from Queens to Brooklyn? It's called the G. We do have one. It's a disaster, but we do have one. She wants to build another disaster.
Jobs at their home. I shared with him a vision.
Okay.
I actually put together a beautiful PowerPoint. Got a lot of nice pictures.
Okay.
I plan on handing that to him when I see him this week. So I still believe there's an opportunity because I never say never.
Oh, she just said, I don't see. She just talks shit. She should not be off the cuff ever. Why isn't her? And I've heard this from other people who've worked with her. She doesn't do well with handlers. Like her handlers tell her to stop, but she won't. Like her handlers tell her to stop, but she won't stop. She really doesn't stop. And he's just, I'm not making a deal. And she goes, but I'll make a deal. She contradicts herself in the same press conference.
I'm not going to presume that he's going to try to continue to undermine our integrity as a New York State, especially when they see we're not going to bow to the king.
Oh, we're not going to bow. That's her problem. That is her problem. Absolutely. Mike is in the house, having his wife friends help him with the computer. Says Hochul has no idea about public transit. She takes jets to cover the state or takes selfies after the woman is burned to death, saying the subway safe. Accurate statement. Mike, that is accurate. That is accurate. 100%. Yes. Andrew, they could be a member. She goes, so she made a picture book. Yeah. And she figures the picture book will, I guess, convince Trump, I guess, or something. Maybe. I don't know. Joel says, Joel is over on Rumble. He says, didn't Kathy exile Trump from New York City? Kathy Hochul said, again, I'm not making this up. She said, if you are a conservative, you should get in a bus and go to Florida. I wish I was making this up. She said it. So there's no room for conservatives in New York State. Cuomo before her said those words. He said, there's no room for conservatives in New York State. Cuomo said that. His words, look it up. I'm not making this up. She said, if you're conservative, get in a bus. She wants you to get in a bus, I guess. So she likes buses. She said, get in a bus and go to Florida. That's what she said. Then she said, this was just last November, or was it October she said it. She said, if you vote Republican, you are anti-American and anti-woman. She said that. So, yeah, I don't think she's about making Trump happy. I don't think she cares about that very much at all. That's my guess. That's what I'm guessing. So.
Never have, never will. So that's the message I want to deliver.
All right, Jenny Kane back there from the Associated Press. Jenny, AP.
Oh, thank you. Well, since we have been talking about Mayor Adams, can you
No,
share
we're
with
not.
us your
Next
latest?
question.
Whoa, no, we're not. Shut that off. No, Eric Adams. And why is she pissed about Eric Adams? Why is she so upset? Because what Trump did by cutting this off is he forced her to act. She didn't want to act on Eric Adams. She didn't. She really didn't. She has to now. She has to act on Eric Adams. And if she punishes Eric Adams too much, it's a problem. Does it punish her enough? It's a problem.
We're gonna move on to Evan Simcoe Bednarski from the New York Daily News.
Governor, the president has characterized the conversations that you had leading up to this as discussions, negotiations. Given what happened today, was he negotiating? Was he discussing in good faith? Can you talk about what, if anything, he offered?
No, I cannot. I'm
All
not
right.
going to divulge private conversations other than I know my objective. My objective is to secure the most federal dollars I can.
There it is. You said the quiet part out loud. You said the quiet part out loud. If you've noticed, when I ran for governor, both times, I went out of my way to come up with ideas and plans that would get New York State off the federal teat. That was one of my biggest goals, to get New York State off, because then they control us. Then they dominate. That's how they control us. That's why our schools suck. That's why our hospitals have a problem. That's why we can't. Yes, all those things. I have an idea. Let's stop that. Now, she knows it won't change it because, as I said, many of you laughed at me when I said it. You know, Larry, this can't keep going. Larry, they have to have a way of doing it. And what do I always say? The same thing. The answer is federal government writes us checks. That is the answer to all the problems. It's the answer. What's going to happen with all the fires in California? Federal government's going to write us checks. Now, Newsom isn't doing, if you notice, what Kathy's doing. Newsom is not doing it at all. Why? Newsom needs that money. Newsom needs that money. And if need be, he will throw the mayor of Los Angeles right under the bus. He won't think twice. He will throw her right under the bus. She's gone. If that's what gets Uncle Don to keep writing the checks that Uncle Joe used to write. I guarantee you that. Newsom, as bad as he is smart and he's pragmatic. He knows. Uncle Don is my way out of this. You don't see him fighting. Where in the news do you see Newsom doing this? Where in the news do you see Newsom fighting him? You don't. Newsom's like, I need my money from Uncle Don. I'm going to shut up. So that's why I'm saying, Grace, you were exactly correct. Cuomo is as smart as Newsom, is as savvy as Newsom. He would have taken it so personally. He would have let his pride get in the way. He made a deal. Guarantee you Newsom's making a deal with Trump. Whatever that deal is, I don't know how they're doing it. They're making a deal, whatever it is. Do you remember even when Trump attacked Newsom and said, well, he screwed up with the water from the north, whatever. Did Newsom come back swinging? He didn't. Mike, you were watching. Did Newsom come back swinging? He didn't. He said, well, the president's confused. He dodged. He was dancing. He was like, dun, 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 dun. He was dancing. He didn't come back swinging. He could have. He could have said, the president's evil. He's wrong. He could have come back. He's a whatever. He hates California. There were so many things Newsom could have done. None of that. He was like, well, it was confused, doesn't understand. Newsom knows where his bread is buttered. He gets it. She's letting her pride get in the way, and it's going to hurt her unless she believes, and I think she does believe this. I think she believes that she actually is the front line to fight Trump. I think she believes that. Because remember she said she talked to God? I'm not joking. You guys knew because you remember that. Talked to God, and God told her that we should all get the jab, the stick. She told us that. And she then told us that she needs us to be her apostles because she talks to God. I'm not joking, guys. You think everything I'm saying, you can literally just Google. She said all these things. So she actually probably believes that she's going to be the one that takes Trump down, whatever. She probably believes that. Yes. So, yeah, Mike paying attention. I knew Mike was paying attention. Mike says, Newsom, Whitman, Shapiro, all silent. Yes. They know they need those dollars. They're watching how Hochul's being beat up and won't support her. Now, look, there's one way around this, Mike, and it's the odds are not high, but it's possible. If the Kingslayer is as good as she thinks she is, and she may or may not be, and if she's able to somehow push Trump off, if she's able to, again, I'm not saying she can, but if anybody can, it's her. If it can be done, it's her. If she pushes Trump off, the others may try somehow to, get their back up. Otherwise, they won't. You are totally correct. I think Kathy actually believes in her heart that she's somehow the savior, that she's going to make this work. She's the one, Mike. She's going to do it. I think she believes it. I do. So Grace says, Cuomo and Newsom can play the role NT game. I'm not sure what that one is. Yes, I heard Kathy said Laura's directing her live. Yes, she said it live. Thank you. Grace was watching. I was too. Guys, if you're thinking, Larry, you're making this up. No. It's true. Absolutely. It's absolutely true. She absolutely said that. She honestly believes that. Phil says, thank you for being a member, Phil. She has a savior complex. 100% true. Yes. Absolutely true. Yes. So.
Because I have to make people in Washington understand, if this city is crippled because we do not make the investments, make sure the Long Island Railroad is functioning at high level, Metro North is functioning.
Why do you have to do all of this with federal funds? You can't do anything. Yes.
Entire subway system, they all have to be running in a.
Oh, Grace says I meant Cuomo and Newsom can play the long game. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Grace, that's correct. They do, right? They're not triggered like her. Cuomo gets beat up. He's like, okay, I'm going to calm myself and move along. Newsom too. Again, Newsom literally went on Fox News more than once. Newsom will fight and then he'll back off. He knows how to play that game. Guys can hate Newsom. I know some of you hate Newsom. It doesn't mean he's not talented. He's still talented and smart. I hate Cuomo and he is talented and smart. Still true. Whether you like him or not, it's true. So, yes. Mike thinks that AG has no leverage. He says AGM had no leverage. Trump can direct how any funding is dispersed and realized he can't end a program or agency, but he can make it functionally non-existent. Thus, New York is losing. Currently, and again, I'm not sure that it can be done. My point is, if it can be done. Yeah. If it can be done. It's her. I'm not saying it can be done. I don't even know. So, yes. Ryan, thank you for being a member. Trump is an ass. Yes, agreed. But you kind of have to be an ass to be an effective president. I'm not saying you're wrong, Ryan. I'm not saying you're wrong. But to be forward, I think it's true. There are a lot of Americans who accept that as true, but have two sides. One of them says, I don't care. He's mine. He's on my side, so it's all good. Another side says, I don't care. I don't like him. It's too emotional for me. I won't vote for him. So I think there's two parts to that. You find a lot of people who go, he's an ass and I don't like it. I can't stand it, so I'm not going to vote for him. And others go, I don't care. He's on my side. Let him be an ass. I don't really care. I think it's both of those. I think you see both of those. I remember maybe 2020. I remember so many people in New York City who were Republicans, who were like, I'd vote for Trump, but just we say take his phone away. That's changed. That was not true in 2024. They were like, I don't care about his phone. They had accepted who he was and just said, I'm voting for him anyway. Yeah, I think it has changed. I think it has.
In a reliable, safe way, or we shut down. And the ripple effect, not just across New York, but across the nation is powerful.
She said it twice. She's literally saying, if we don't have congestion pricing, that's what she's saying, the entire country is going to suffer. We'll shut down. The country will suffer. Yet, if you remember, do you remember before when congestion pricing was supposed to come into play and she all of a sudden said, no, we're not doing it anymore? She stopped it. Why? I thought the whole world would just collapse. Basically, the end of the world.
At a time when our economy is under siege from Washington. We
live in a state. It's our economy. Did you guys who live in New York City, you didn't know that? It's not because she sucks. It's not because our government sucks. It's because it's under siege from the federal government. That's why our economy is collapsing. Everyone's leaving New York State because it's under siege by the federal government. But wait a minute, they've been leaving New York State for decades. Huh. So Biden was also sieging it, and so was Trump before, and so was Obama. They were all sieging it. Nothing but garbage. She's making this up. Why doesn't somebody in the press, how am I kidding myself? What do you mean if someone in the press would actually just cover this the way I cover it?
People are terrified of tariffs.
Okay. So you're telling me New Yorkers were walking around the street terrified of tariffs. If you're a New Yorker and you're watching or listening, I would ask you, do you remember anybody, family, friends, co-worker, boss, guy you buy your ham and cheese sandwich from, guy you get your coffee from, any of them who said, man, I am terrified of these tariffs. I can tell you literally nobody that I know in New York said, I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. Tariffs is coming. Nope, nobody said that. Not one person. She's making that up. That's not a thing. Yet again, utterly making it up. Nobody said that. Not one person was like, oh, I'm so scared of tariffs. Oh my God. No New Yorkers said that. Not a thing. Totally made up. Yes. Phil says, guys, terrified of tariffs. She had to repeat it twice because she thought it was so clever. She did. That's my point. She isn't that bright, and she thinks she is. So she had to say, see, ooh, I was clever. Let me say it again. Yeah. Terrible.
Whether you're a farmer in upstate New York or someone who's trying to buy steel to build one of the largest manufacturing facilities in American history, I've got a lot.
No farm upstate there was like, man, I'm scared of tariffs.
But I am always one who's willing to sit at the table,
yeah,
say, what do you need? What do I need? And how do we get it done? I'm not.
She just said, I'm not going to be making deals. And I was like, I've always been a person, but what? Which one are you?
Not ever closing the door on that.
Rebecca Lewis right there, City and State in front.
Hi, Governor. You use some pretty fiery language, perhaps the strongest that I've heard you use since Trump became president.
And let me get that. The strongest language is true she's ever used. Why? Is it because New Yorkers are in trouble? Is it because she sees the people literally dying on the subway? Is it because that woman was set on, because multiple people were set on fire in the subway? Was it that? Was it because the guy was stabbing people after he was arrested 87 times? Was it because of that? Was it because we took in 200,000 migrants last year and New York State still lost population? Is it because of that? No. She didn't get mad about that. Didn't yell and scream. No, none of that. Is it because the lockdowns destroyed our school system? Is it because yet again we're ranked in the bottom 50% of school system, even though we spend the most money? Was it because of that? No, wasn't because of that. It was because how dare them sue me and then take my money That's why she's so upset. That's why she's mad. Because how dare they insult the queen? And that's the part that gets me triggered. If you're going to do that job where you're in the front like that, why am I one of the rare idiots in the libertarian independent movement who will keep running for office? Why? Because most people don't want to get in front and get their ass kicked all the time. They don't want to be yelled at, insulted. They don't want all their errors put online forever. I get it. For people run once and quit. But if you're going to do this, you have to have thick skin and a strong ego, or don't do it. Don't do it. You don't see me get angry like that when someone insults me. I get insulted all the time. Have you seen my social media sometimes? I get insulted all the time. When I'm out in public, I get insulted all the time. I get mad when this happens. When someone like her who's in charge, who people keep voting for and keep putting her in charge, and she doesn't give a shit about any of us, she uses her fiery language, not because our state is literally dying. Not because of that. Not because we have cops now getting shot. If you go back before the lockdowns, some of you may not know this. And again, you can do your homework on this. Prior to the lockdowns, being a New York City cop was actually safe. I'm not joking. It was a challenging job, but it wasn't dangerous prior to the lockdowns. If you look at being a cop in New York City, 2018, 2017, 2019, you had a higher chance of being shot by a friendly fire than being shot by anybody else out in New York City. It was not a thing. Lockdowns happened. Lockdowns put a bunch of young people into the streets with a black market stronger than ever. Don't go to school, don't go to work. Here's a black market. All of a sudden, cops getting shot. Cops getting shot now. That's a thing now. Now in New York City, you're a cop. Yeah, you get shot. That's how that works. That wasn't a thing before lockdowns. Now add on top of that, 2 years later, 200,000 migrants. Now cops get shot now. That wasn't a thing. Is she mad about that? Is she screaming and yelling about that? No. She's mad because Trump insulted her. She's mad because Trump insulted her. How dare he? Does he not know I am the queen? That's why she's using fiery language.
President, you called this an attack on New York's sovereignty. Is this marking a new era?
Now, she just pronounced it correctly. Sovereignty, not sovereignty, but that's okay.
Of your approach to the Trump administration? Or should we expect to see more resistance from you to things that he's doing? Or are you still going to continue your strategy of trying to find middle ground and, maybe not poking the bear?
I think the bear's been poked.
Yeah, I'm tough.
But I'm saying this. I want you to know this. I have said on national shows, I've been asked countless, are you leading the resistance? No, I'm governing the great state of New York.
Oh, now she's backing off a little bit. Are you leading the resistance? See, this is exactly to Mike's point from earlier. The other three top dogs like, I ain't leading the resistance. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not leading this. No. So like, let Kathy do it. Kathy's not that bright, so she might do it. And she also has Kingslayer. She's got Kingslayer also as an attack dog. So maybe we let her do it. She isn't that bright. She gets insulted and triggered over personal stuff. She thinks she's a queen. So, and she has Kingslayer. Let's send her out in front. And she's biting. Like she's biting. Newsom said, I ain't taking that bait. Shapiro said, I ain't taking that bait. She said, I'll take the bait. I'll jump right on it.
I will continue taking on the issues when they have an effect on New Yorkers. I don't need to be playing whack-a-mole every time something crazy comes out of Washington. You need to see me doing a press conference or tweeting about it. That's not how I have effective leadership. I need to pick my fights.
Pick my fights. Okay, so I'll say again. Was the fight cops getting shot? No, that's not her fight. Was her fight New Yorkers leaving? That's not hers. Was her fight literally what's called zombie homes in New York State? This is on the New York State government website. Homes that are New Yorkers who are so pissed off and worried and broken, they just packed up and left their homes, just walked away. Whether they had a mortgage, whether they had a lease, just left. See you in court, I'm out. I'm gone, moving to Florida. Just left. Was that her fight? No. Okay, no worries. Was it the fact that literally the largest mental health facility in New York State is Rikers Island, our prison system? Was it that? No, not at all. Not that at all either. Weird. It's not any of that. Was it when they were, again, literally in 1 year, multiple people were set on fire in the New York public system, in the public transit system? Nope, not that. No. What was it? The president insulted me. That's the one. Yes.
And as someone who's watched, I watched a lot of First Blood. Okay. You probably don't know what it is. Everybody watch First Blood? Someone draws First Blood, you respond. I didn't draw First Blood. Okay. There's a response that's required when someone comes after you. Someone
comes after you. Yet again, self-report. She tells on herself again. It's not about us. She doesn't care about us. She never cared about us. She's mad because it attacked her. Hearst for real says, Mike Lawler will defeat Hochul next election for governor. Not a chance at all. Zero chance of that. Never going to happen. Not a chance. I'll bet you any amount of money you want. Never going to happen. You name the amount, I will accept the bet. Never going to happen. Not a thing. Even as bad as Hochul is, unless an independent runs, she's unbeatable in New York. Why? It's 3-1 Democrat to Republican. They know how bad she is. She ran against Zeldin last time. The Republican infrastructure in this state does not exist. Not just that, Republicans don't have any answers in New York State. Their answers are literally Hochul bad. We all know Hochul's bad. Not going to happen. Independent has to run. Republicans have to back that independent because Democrats will vote for independent. I know when I ran, 25% of the people who ran, 20% of the people who voted for me were Democrats. I know. Hearst goes on to say, Zeldin almost beat her. No, he didn't. I said publicly, he will lose between 5 and 7 points. He lost by 6. And that, by the way, was 3 years ago. And there are at least 300,000, if not more, less Republicans in this state than there were 3 years ago. The Republicans are leaving the state. If you're in New York, I don't know if you are, Hirsch, if you're in New York, you know of people who left. You've already watched them leave. They are leaving like this tomorrow. And who's staying? Democrats are. We have to be able to turn Democrats. If you can't turn Democrats, you can't win. You have to turn Democrats. Republicans, if you heard Republicans talk across the state, have you heard them talk across the state? I have. All they do is go, Democrats evil, Democrats crazy, Democrats evil. If you're a Democrat, why would you vote for them? If the Republicans change their rhetoric completely in the next year or two, maybe, but they're not right now. They're not doing it. I don't see it. If you have anything you know that I don't know, I'm happy to hear it, but I have not seen it at all. I haven't seen it. And I talked to him. I have not seen it. So, yes. Anyway, let's see if I can do here. Chin says, what do you think of Grace Meng and Tom Suozzi? Do you support them? No, they're the same as the rest. I mean, Suozzi does have some, he's got some decent, he does have some decent charisma. Suozzi does. He has some decent charisma. I think he had a shot at making some impact, but he doesn't have the infrastructure and he cannot beat Hochul. I mean, again, you see the difference between Hochul and Adams. And I told you guys this 3 months ago. Adams does not know how to set up defensive structures for himself. Hochul does. Hochul does. Hochul has set this up to where she is defensively solid. She has her Kingslayer with her. Lots of New Yorkers, and literally hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers, their jobs are directly related to her. Those people will defend her because their livelihoods are there. Eric Adams gave his buddies, his friends jobs. That's why when stuff got tough, they all left. Remember, the 4 deputy mayors left. Stuff got tough, they left. Remember when Cuomo was there and Cuomo was getting hooping out? Who was resigning? They weren't. They were staying. Cuomo's people were loyal to him. There were guys who went to jail for him. Guys went to jail. Pericoco went to jail for Cuomo. Cuomo had loyal people around him. Hochul has loyal people around her. Adams doesn't. Tom Suozzi, he can raise a little bit of money. He's got some charisma. He can't step to her system. Her system is far too strong. Far too strong. And he also won't be aggressive enough to stop her. So that you have to be very aggressive to stop her. Very aggressive. So yes. Oh yes, I will. Yeah. Prococo. Yes, thank you. Did I say pre-Coco? Prococo, yes. Yes, he was the one. Yes. He did time for Cuomo. Come on now. Eric has none of those. Adams has none of those. None of those. So Hirsch says, I respect your opinion, Sharpe. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Republican Party has to make massive changes in New York State if it wants to win. Massive changes. And at the moment, I don't see that. I don't see a change in leadership. I don't see a change in those things. Now, if they were smart, if I run in 2026, which I have not said I would, but if I run in 2026, Republicans should be smart and they should back me so I can get on their ticket so I could run as an independent and or libertarian and or Republican all combined. Because in New York State, we have what's called fusion voting and other states don't do it the way we do it, which is very odd. But what we do is you can actually be on multiple lines. So I could be listed as a Republican, listed as a libertarian, listed as an independent. I could be listed 3 times. So people can vote for me on whatever line they want. And regardless of which one they pick, so this is 1 vote, I get the vote. Doesn't matter. So she'll be on 2 lines. If I get 3 lines, that's a winnable race. Plus, I'll just run. That's all I'll do. I'll just run all day. That's all I'll do. Right? So that's the difference. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see how crazy it is. So, yeah. All righty. Let me see. Let me keep going.
Just came after my state, and now I have to step up on this issue. If there's another area we can have collaboration, cooperation, serve our mutual constituents because he does represent New York at the federal level, I'm up for that. I'm willing to sit down and work hard to do that. So I'm not trying to put myself in a different,
go ahead,
cast a different lens about me. I'm just saying you went too far because you came after New Yorkers.
No, because you came after me. Don't lie. Mike over at on Instagram says the D's left in New York on the dole in large part. Also true. Remember, over 50% of New Yorkers are on Medicaid or Medicare. Over 50%. New York State has the widest wealth gap of all the states. We have the worst wealth gap in all of New York State and all entire country. This is what she's working on. Is that what got her angry? Is that what got her mad? Is that what got her up as the fight she wants to fight? The idea that New York State has the worst wealth gap of all the states in the union? Worse than Arkansas, Alabama, worse than all of them? Is that what she meant? Nope. No, that didn't get her. You know what got her? What got her was he attacked her. That's the reason. How dare he?
Came after New Yorkers.
All right, time for a couple more. Back in the mezzanine, Ida Siegel from NBC4.
Hi, Governor. You said that the cameras are staying on.
Yep.
Does that mean until a federal judge tells you to turn them off? And what happens in court? How long are we going to have this battle in court, do you predict?
So the MTA has filed its action, as the governor said, right after we received a letter from federal DOT, and we're seeking a declaratory judgment, making clear that the congestion pricing program is fully authorized. Obviously, that will take some time, but until a judge rules, these cameras are staying on, and we expect the judge to rule in our favor.
So we're just going to ignore what the president said.
All right, we got time for one more. Gwen Hogan right down here from the city. Gwen, we're getting you a microphone. It's right behind you.
Thank you. Does the MTA have a contingency plan if the president is able to turn off congestion pricing? And
because the world's going to end, right? Didn't she say that? Literally, the world's going to end. It's the end of the world. She said it. Her word. She didn't say that, but basically, what she actually said was literally the entire American economy is going to crash. She did say that. So the American economy, not just New York City, the entire American economy is going to crash if we don't keep congestion pricing. So clearly, you have an answer in case that happens, right?
what would it take for you to determine that Mayor Eric Adams was no longer able to govern New York City?
I'm ignoring the second part of the question because I said that's another day, but you know.
No, we have no contingency plan. And as Brian
just said it. He just said the quiet part out loud. We got no plan. Our plan is federal money printed, go burr. Make it rain. That's our plan. I know when I was saying this last year, some of you thought I was kidding. I'm not kidding. That's the plan. The plan is going according to plan. Federal government, give me money. Well, we had a problem. Federal government, give me money. Something failed. Federal government, give me money. Things don't work. Federal, just give me money. Turn the money printer on, Fed. Make it go burr. Make it rain. I need some cash. Uncle Joe kept giving me checks. Why won't you? That is the plan.
and Mahana just said, we're highly confident that this program is going to stand up to in court. Remember, we've been sued in every court east of the Mississippi, and we won every time. This is going to be another one.
Yeah, John says it right. We expect these judges to rule in our favor, Code. The judges serve our plans. Accurate, John. We've watched that happen, haven't we? Yes, utterly and totally accurate. Yes, absolutely.
All right, thanks, everybody. Thank you so much.
If I say one more thing, you talk about other states. Again, in case you didn't pick this up, the weak legal theory that they have come back with us, and we know we.
All right, we can stop talking about that. I think I've shown enough of that one. That was an interesting one. I think that's it. I do want to grab one more if I could. This one is. This is her press conference on Eric Adams. I know I'm punishing you with a lot of Kathy Hochul, but it's been a couple days. My fault, and I do really enjoy that. Yes. Shelley says, we saw that in real time, Larry. I'm still stunned. Yes, we did. Shelley was there. Shelley was in the courtroom. That's correct. She was in the courtroom. Yes. We watched it in real time. Blew us all. We could not believe it. Yes. We watched how they do that. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. So, all right. Let me grab this one if I could. This one. All right. This was the day after. So she had done the first one. She's like, okay, now I'm going to do this next one. And now we're good. Here we go. She's here. She's ready to go.
Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon.
You made me aware that over 24 hours ago,
Yeah.
I did not respond very well to the Trump administration posting a photo of the president attired like a king.
She is so triggered by that. Wow. She is so triggered.
As well as a message declaring that indeed he was the king.
I'm the
He
queen.
did this when he attempted to undermine the duly elected laws of our state related to congestion pricing.
See that? These are duly elected laws. I'm not sure what that is. It's probably something close to sovereignty, but it's fine.
I referenced this again today for one reason.
She doesn't have, does she have, is she not doing her thing? Oh no.
We fought a war
Fought a
250
war.
years ago
Okay.
to depose a king who tried to impose his will on a young country.
What's funny is the tax rate was like 4% then, and we fought a war. What's your tax rate? Way higher. Maybe it's time for the war.
We don't have a king today
We have a queen, not
because it
king.
conflicts with the very genius of a democracy, where the voices and the votes of the people, not a king,
Okay.
not a queen,
Well, then why won't you let anybody else on the ballot so people could vote? Oh, yeah. You won't do that, though, will you?
and not a governor should prevail.
Okay.
Voters determine who they want
Okay.
or they do not want to represent them in elective office.
I didn't know that. That's how elections vote. Okay, good. Thanks.
As I said last week, I was deeply troubled
She's troubled.
by the accusations leveled at Mayor Eric Adams,
Okay.
not just the initial indictment, but also the more recent allegation of a quid pro quo with the Trump administration.
That was an allegation. It's true.
For days, I've been deeply involved in discussions with my closest advisors, city leaders, electeds, clergy, business, labor.
She would, first off, not business. That's not the thing. She doesn't do that. But not just that. Also, in case you didn't know, Hakeem Jeffries, yes. And on top of it, Al Sharpton. Not joking.
Civic leaders, all people whose opinions that matter to me because they care about our city. I consulted them,
And then what they say?
legal advisors, on whether it's appropriate and necessary at this moment to exercise the power granted to me as the governor of the state of New York
Okay.
by the New York State Constitution and the City of New York Charter to remove a mayor from office.
Okay.
I've also heard from many voices of New Yorkers who
Okay.
feel outraged, who feel hurt, betrayed by what they have seen.
They feel outraged
I
and
want
hurt.
those New Yorkers to know I understand those feelings as well.
Okay.
After careful consideration, I have determined that I will not commence removal proceedings at this time.
At this time.
My strong belief is that the will of the voters and the supremacy and sanctity of democratic elections.
See, this is the part that I'm concerned by. I'm concerned about this because she says what matters is the election and the will of the voters. Okay, if that's true, I'm wondering, why did she not pardon Trump? Right? She can pardon him now. She could have pardoned him then. Why did she let her Kingslayer finish off Trump and get him convicted on 34 counts? Weren't we waiting for an election then too? I think we were, weren't we? Wasn't Trump running for president at that point? If you care so much, and look, if you're going to tell me you don't care and burn Trump and burn Adams, okay, burn them all. At least you're going to be consistent and you want to burn them all. But you'll burn Trump, but you won't burn Adams. Wait a minute. So it's the will of the people, except when it's Trump. Then it's not. Then we got to burn him. I don't think that's right. Yeah. Shelley says it right. She's not a puppet, just not too bright. True. Accurate statement, Shelley. Accurate statement. Yes, it's true.
Preclude me from any other action. I cannot deny the people of this great city the power to make this decision for themselves.
Oh.
And to those who conclude.
But wait a minute. Wasn't that the same argument Trump made on why isn't that what the judge even said? Why you didn't want to sentence Trump? Because of that? Isn't that the whole point? So when it's right, it's true. Orange man is bad. I should just say that. Orange man's bad.
Decision is due to pressure. Many groups or individuals.
Nobody said that. Why would you say that? The lady doth protest too much, doesn't she?
I say this.
What do you say?
You do not know me.
I do not know you.
Constant pressure.
God, why do you go off the cuff? You're terrible off the cuff.
who I deal with all day long.
Because you're hardcore. You have to tell us how cool you are, like every time you speak to us. I don't tell you how cool I am every time I speak to you, because it's clear how cool I am. I'm obviously super cool. I should tell you that all the time. No, it's clear. Maybe. Anyway, the point being, I don't have to tell you how cool I am every 5 minutes. She does.
No bearing on any decisions I make. I will
No
say
bearing.
this.
No
I
bearing.
also have concerns about disruption and chaos. That such moves.
She says, I will say this, as if she's making some proclamation like she's Hammurabi, right? I will say this.
The proceeding
Nothing.
could bring to the residents of this great city.
Great city, okay.
And those who argue just go and remove them,
Yeah.
fail to appreciate there is a process involved.
There's a process involved. You people,
The
due
length of the
process.
And the impact that such a process would have on this.
Hold on. She just says due process matters. When those corrections officers over at Marcy Prison, when they were involved in killing that guy, she just fired 14 of them. Where was the due process then? Huh. It's weird how Adams gets due process and the will of the people. Trump doesn't get that, and neither do those corrections officers. Just weird. You know, when I remember something like that happening to me, when I was actually supposed to get a hearing from the Department of the Bureau of Elections, the Board of Elections, I didn't get a hearing. I got no hearing. I got no due process. Where were you then? Nowhere. Weird. So Eric Adams gets due process. Corrections officers, no due process. I don't get due process. Who cares? Get rid of them. They're gone. And even better. And when it happened, remember when Cuomo got in trouble, he was grabbing butts? That happened while I was on the air doing my radio show in WYSL. And what did I say? I said, as much as I hate Cuomo, I'm not going to say anything. He deserves due process. Let the investigation happen. I said that. I did not hammer him until afterwards. Then I hammered him afterwards, after he got his due process. Because everyone deserves due process, except Trump and corrections officers. Sorry, they don't. Everyone else does. Just not Trump and not corrections officers.
City. And actually, with the timing, it's not impossible that we'd have a scenario where there's multiple mayors of the city in the course of 1 year.
Okay.
But make no mistake.
Oh, I'm not going to make a
The
mistake.
current situation is one that I take very seriously.
Okay, seriously.
That's
Got it.
why I
Oof.
want to spell out my immediate objectives.
Okay, what's your objective?
Number one,
Tell me.
to stabilize the city and restore calm. Number two,
Is okay. If you live in New York City, I do. I know Mike does. Anyone else listening? I'd ask you a question. Is the city somehow not stabilized because of Eric Adams and his thing with Trump? Is the city not, I don't have to do it myself. Is this like everyone was scared of the tariffs or something? Is that a thing? Most people aren't even talking about this. The city's like, I don't know what to do. I can't go buy groceries. Why? Eric Adams might not be mayor next week. I don't think anybody's saying that. She's just making this up.
ensure that all services for our residents continue without disruption. And three.
Why would, let's say Eric Adams quits tomorrow and Jumaane Williams steps in. Does everything stop all of a sudden? Let's say Eric Adams doesn't. He keeps running and he runs for governor. He runs for mayor again. Okay. How is the city somehow destroyed by this? It isn't.
Just take steps to make sure our leaders are operating only with the city's best interest in mind, unimpeded by any legal agreements with the Trump Justice Department.
Oh, because Orange Man is bad. Okay. That's okay. That's the reason. Things might be impeded. Why? Because Trump. See? Don't forget. If you go down to buy some eggs, because you got eggs finally, and then someone yells at you because they're scared, it's because Trump. That's the reason.
I want to be very clear.
Okay.
There are past examples of coordination and cooperation between the federal government, the city, the state. It's not uncommon.
That's true. Not uncommon at all. I would
There's
agree with
a
you.
clear line between cooperation
Yeah.
and coercion.
And where is that? Did you see it?
Given how aggressive the Trump administration has been, including its attempt yesterday to dismantle a previously approved congestion pricing program, and how deeply disturbing the comments from the president's border czar were, we know they'll stop at nothing to try and exercise control over New York.
Okay.
That is the fight we had yesterday. That is
So again, her only priority, she wants to fight so hard only when she's personally attacked. It's not because at all. It's not because she's mad, right? It's not because she's mad because we're having problems, because the corrections officers are on strike. And to be forward, whatever side you're on the corrections officers, it doesn't matter. As you've seen me, you've heard me say more than once, the two people being hurt the most are the corrections officers and the families of those who are imprisoned. Those people who are hurt the most, and no one cares about either of those. No one cares about the family. No one cares about the corrections officers. They're the ones who matter most. Is she talking about that? No. Where's that? Nowhere. Is she mad? Is that the big fight to fight? The National Guard is coming in. When the National Guard comes in, for those of you who don't know, I'm not mad at National Guard. I'm not. They're doing their job. I'm not mad at them. All I'm saying is the National Guard comes in. Do they know how to handle all the problems of all the people in those prisons? Recognizing yet again that the largest mental health facility in New York State is our prison system. How are National Guard guys going to know that? I'm not mad at them. They're just not trained for it. It's not a thing. How do they know when to feed who, how to feed? This is a system they have to work on. Corrections officers, it's a system. It's like anybody can go in. It's like you just grab a rifle and march back and forth across the wall. If it was that, I would agree. But who cares? Anybody can grab a rifle and march back and forth across the wall. It's not that. It's a whole lot more. It's a whole lot more. And she's talking about that. So, yeah.
the fight we have today. And that is the fight I want to take on for the next 1,430 days.
Oh.
To move this city forward.
I mean, why that amount of days? Oh, because that's how long Trump's going to be in charge. Because Trump is going to be destroying New York the entire time. She has now made Trump the foil to New York State. I got to tell you, a lot of you were teasing me, and you were like, Larry, it's not really Orange Man bad. They're not going to blah, blah, blah. And what did I tell you? I said, the Democrats love Orange Man bad. She loves this. Because now she can say, she's decided now, okay, now I'm fighting him. He is another reason why thing goes wrong.
I'm undertaking the implementation of certain guardrails that I believe are a first start in reestablishing trust for New York City residents and ensure that all decisions out of City Hall are in the clear interests of the people of this city and not at the behest of the president.
Can't stop
I'm
president.
proposing 3 immediate actions, which I believe.
Could you, what if it was, serious question, what if this was happening and Harris was the president? Serious question. What if Adams was under investigation and Harris was saying, look, I need you to help me out with something? Did this be happening? No, they'd say nothing. They'd say nothing, not a thing.
Will help protect New Yorkers. First, I'm proposing legislation to create a special inspector general for New York City affairs.
So there's going to be a special inspector general because that'll solve it. I'll give one of my friends another job. Every single time that she solves a problem, there's always more money and her crony gets a job. Every time.
Within the office of the state inspector general. The state inspector general will be able to direct the New York City Department of Investigations. And the mayor will only be able to remove the Department of Investigations commissioner with the approval of the state inspector general.
There we go.
This will protect the city's investigations from any interference. Make sure that there's no lack of independence as they make their determinations.
We can't have the Orange Man say something because he's the bad guy. So yeah, can't do that. That's the issue. Yeah.
And allow the Inspector General to focus more directly on any improper activity that may arise out of New York City.
Yeah, John brings a very valid point. He says Harris will not hold the $13 billion from Queen Kathy. Queen Kathy gets that money no matter what. Right, which is why she wouldn't fight. She'd be like, whatever, it's fine. I'm getting my money. I don't care. Yep.
We'll also give reports to us. We'll have access to information. Second, I'm proposing giving the city controller, the public advocate, and the New York City Council Speaker an independent authority to clarify the independent language to commence litigation against the federal government when necessary and using outside counsel.
Against the federal government. Damn, we're going to make sure Trump can't do nothing. We're going to sue him like he's
The
going
law
to.
department will still have the opportunity to initiate legal actions within 7 days of any request.
She's libertarian
The
now.
whole of city government should not be reliant on City Hall for legal cases where the people of the city may be under attack by the federal government.
Federal government's coming after you. If this was Harris or Biden, do you think that'd be a problem? Not at all. Phil goes on 2 things. He says, outside counsel, who's getting paid? Yes, yes, and yes. Absolutely. Phil goes on to say, special super inspector major general, chest full of medals. Yes, he's the super duper inspector, the chief, master, senior, chief, lieutenant, major, general inspector. Yes, he's all the things. Grace says, special inspector general sounds like a new Paw Patrol character. It is. He's a new Paw Patrol character. I love that. Yes. Yeah. Phil says, I'm sorry, Andrew says that, Phil, just make them an admiral. Done. They're an admiral. Let's give them all of the field marshal. We'll give them all of the titles. I love it. Let's give them all. That'll make things better.
Third, I'm expanding funding for the Office of the Deputy State Controller General. Controller for city oversight. Because this stepped up oversight.
Half these people run for governor or run for mayor. So she's saying, hey, you're going to run for mayor? You have the ability to get rid of the mayor. I'm not joking. You run for governor, you have the ability to get rid of the mayor. What?
Again, this gives us an independent line of sight into potential decisions related to the federal government.
So we can make sure Trump has no power over him.
This will be paid for by city receipts.
Paid for by city
Once
receipts.
these measures are enacted, they'll be effective immediately.
So that right there will take care of all that congestion pricing. Someone got to pay for it. That's why he wants congestion price to pay for the super duper massive inspector major general senior chief admiral. You have to. Someone's got to pay for that guy.
At the end of 2025, subject to renewal. I've already discussed these proposals with the city council speaker.
Okay.
And the speaker of the state assembly and the majority leader of the New York State Senate.
Well, now it's good then.
I also told the mayor that strong managers need to be identified.
Okay.
To fill the roles of the deputy mayors before they become vacant, and that we in my administration, with strong relationships that we have, will work to accomplish that goal.
Okay. Let me tell you what that means. You cannot select who your deputy mayors are anymore. I will put my people there. You gave your sister, I'm not joking, he did give his sister a job. You gave your sister, your drinking buddy, also true, I'm not making that up. Your college roommate, also true, not making that up. He gave all of them jobs, right? And she's like, dummy, you screwed that up. I'm now putting my people in there. So she is now going to put her people in as deputy. She's like, you screwed up. You should have put some heavy hitters around you so you couldn't be screwed over, who wouldn't bail on you. But Eric, you dumb. You don't understand how shit works around here. You got to put the right people in charge. Well, now you're in trouble. I can get rid of you. You don't want me to get rid of you. So now I'm putting my people in as deputy mayors. I'm going to give 4 of my friends jobs. She literally just said that. I'm going to put 4 of my friends, I'm going to give 4 of my friends jobs as deputy mayors, which means now those deputy mayors will be loyal to me. This is why when Herschel said that someone else can beat her, they cannot. She knows how to put the right people around who are loyal to her. And she will put 4 deputy mayors in who will be loyal to her. And if they're loyal to her and they're good, guess what will happen? She won't mind. She won't mind if Eric Adams wins the mayor. If Eric Adams wins the mayoral race this year, what does she care? She won't mind. She won't care because she's going to have her people right there. That's how that works. Yes. Andrea says, geez, I have the wrong friends. Guess I really have friends in low places. Yes. How do I know this, right? Because every time that I was running for office, people of the two major parties always came to me and offered me something. Every time. Every time. And some people know they've come with me, they've been at these meetings when they offer me something. Do this, we'll give you that, blah, blah. They always offer you something. That's how it works. Like an idiot, I always say no. Andrea, yeah, I say no, I'm with you. I probably should have said yes a long time ago, but I should have sold out, but I haven't sold out yet. Maybe one day I'll sell out, but not that day is not today.
Whatever he can to keep his key commissioners. I want to take a moment to put this all in context.
Okay, put it in context because I'm lost.
New York is facing a grave threat from Washington.
Grave threat from Washington. Let me ask you, what's the grave threat from Washington? What is it? There is none. That's not a thing. Is Washington the reason why they're setting people on fire in the subways? Is Washington the reason that the only way we grow our economy is through government dollars because the private sector won't come to us anymore? Is Washington the reason why 300,000 New Yorkers leave this state every year? Is Washington the reason that we lose $20 billion, according to the IRS, not my numbers, the IRS, we lose $20 billion due to migration? Is that because of the attack of Washington? Is it Washington's fault that cops now get shot in our city when they didn't get shot before or hardly ever got shot? I mean, I should say never. Rarely got shot. Now they get shot. Is that because of the attack of Washington? Is that the reason? I don't think that's why. Yeah. Andrew says, Washington is why I can't get a quality job at a good tech company. How dare they? Is that the reason why? Yeah. There's no attack. The attack is on her personally. That's why she's mad. Joel says the constitutional crisis. Isn't it always? Yes. Yes. Is it the attack from Washington why our corrections officers are literally leaving their jobs? Leaving. By the way, I got to keep going. If the prisoners don't have corrections officers, that means the prisoners can't get visitation. For some of these guys who are going to come back out, they need that visitation to stay connected to their families so they have a chance of surviving on the way out. Not just that, if they don't have competent corrections officers, there are some terrible people in those prisons, as many of you know. They will control the prison. So now people who weren't violent will become violent out of desperation or self-defense. That happens when you don't have corrections officers doing their job. Is that because of Washington? Or is it because you didn't handle that issue that I talked about back in 2017?
The Trump administration has said is already trying to use the legal jeopardy facing our mayor.
Joel goes on and says, it's worse. COs walked out of some prisons. No food, no medicine, nothing. Correct. Yes. Okay. So now I know that I have people in that prison who are mentally ill and violent. We know this to be true. We know that to be true. Mentally ill and violent. I'm not insulting them. That's simply a fact. So now I got COs who walk out, who know these men, who have a relationship with these men, who know about the food, the medicine, all that stuff. They leave. They leave. And then the people who aren't bad, who aren't those people who are mentally ill and violent, they are now stuck in that prison with those people. With no COs to help them. These guys are not going to make their meds anymore. How does that go well for anybody? For anybody. If you are a normal, compassionate man in that prison, you're not going to survive without being utterly broken without those COs. And I don't even have your family to support you. And now I got family members who can't go and see their inmates. They can't see them. Yeah, you're totally right. Is that the big issue? Is that Washington hurting us? Don't think so.
Leverage to squeeze and punish our city. The president's.
How will you squeeze this? She's just making this up. Who's squeezing and punishing anything? Who is squeezing and punishing anything? That's not a thing. She's literally just making this up. Like it's insane. She is literally just making this up. Yes, she's making things. Yeah, she's just making things up. I wish she wasn't, but she just is. It's embarrassing how bad she is. It's embarrassing how bad she when it comes to bad governors, Jesus Christ. Guys, before we keep going, I'm going to go a little bit more, but remember, click the button known as like Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. I bring it up all the time. It does matter. The more times you do it, you know who likes that? Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore. Rhythm, he loves it. So if you do that, he'll move it to other people. Share this if you haven't. Repost it someplace. Put it in Facebook groups. Put it someplace on X, whatever you want. Subscribe if you haven't already. And when you do subscribe, please click that all notifications to make sure you do on YouTube. Please follow me on Facebook, X, and Rumble. And please, if you want to, be a member. Be a member either on YouTube or be a member on Rumble if you want to. You can always super chat me or rant me, and everything goes right to the front. So, yes, I want to make sure you do that if you can. It does matter. Every bit counts. So, all right.
Already trying to weaken our public transit system and undermine our state sovereignty.
That's sovereignty.
I call it the Trump revenge tour.
It's the Trump revenge tour that attacks her and our sovereignty. Right? I don't know where that tree is. I think that tree's in Central Park. I think that's the sovereign tree. It is in Central Park. Or is it as, I forgot who said it. I saw it in the chat. It's Sovereign Tree Fitty. If we get Sovereign Tree Fitty, now we get some money at least. So that's good. Phil says it's also Elon derangement. It'll be EDS. No. It's not just, no. It's Orange Man Bad or also kind of autistic man bad. That's the other one I kept hearing. So yeah, either one knows that's good. Yes. Nico says, she says sovereignty yesterday too. Yes. And the worst part is, Nico, we just showed that one. You might have missed it. You might not have watched it. We just showed that yesterday's. And the other day, the press person says it correctly. It corrects her. Sovereignty. And she still says sovereignty. I told you, I wasn't joking. You guys think I'm joking when I say these things. She really isn't that bright. Compared to many people, she isn't. And the worst part is she thinks she is, and she's not. And she's just not. It's not a thing. She believes she's super smart. She's not, and it becomes so obvious sometimes. So Mike says, Larry, I can fact you to that. No one in New York City is talking about the mayoral race, nor asking for Hochul to change Adams, as all know it will not fix the issues if done. It's party politics. Yes. Mike and I have been in events. No one's talking about Eric Adams being removed or her. There's jokes about Eric's now a Republican. There's jokes about that, but that's just jokes. But that's it. There's some jokes. That's all. But no one is terrorized or destabilized. That's not a thing. Yes, that's not a thing.
And I have to stand in its way.
Okay. Oh.
Not surprising.
I got to stand in its way.
Taking out his anger and frustration over the 35 felony convictions he received here in the state of New York. Taking out on our New Yorkers.
Yep.
And as governor, I will be the vanguard against harm to our state and our people.
She has finally admitted, as I said she would. I will be the vanguard. Yes. Mike, watch. You are correct. The other 3 state governors are just watching. They're going to be like, okay, can she get away with this or not? Let's see what happens. They said, we'll have her go out. She's dumb enough and prideful enough that she'll do it. She'll go fight the Orange Man. She'll go fight the president. She's got the Kingslayer. So she'll use the Kingslayer and she'll go fight him. Right? She isn't that bright. And Tish James is not scared of anything. So they'll go off and fight and we'll see. And that's what they're looking at. They're hoping. They're like, let's see. Let's see if we can win this one.
And nothing will stand in our way.
Nothing will.
Once I have made a decision,
that's it.
I execute it.
See that?
Work hard to make it work.
She's tough. She's told us
My
every time she
decision
talks.
did not come lightly, but the path forward for me is clear. I will retain the powers conferred upon me by the New York State Constitution, the city charter.
Yep.
But it's my sincere hope that these dark days will pass.
Was she saying dark days? I know I keep saying this. But was she saying dark days when they were setting people on fire in the subways? No. She wasn't saying dark days. She was pretending like everything was awesome. It's dark days when they attack her and her money. Then it's the
Elections will
darkest
occur,
days.
and the people of New York will decide who they trust to govern this extraordinary city. And we can remain laser focused
On
and
what?
united
United.
against the storm clouds that are swirling 226 miles away.
The storm clouds. They're storming. He's ready to just get us all and attack the sovereign tree. That's in Central Park, I think. We're going to hit the sovereign tree. That tree
Our
is a
nation's
big tree.
capital. My eyes are on the city,
Okay.
the state,
Okay.
and on Washington.
Okay.
And I'm ready and prepared to take on any fight
Any fight.
against any threats to the well-being of our residents.
Yep.
Any questions?
Okay. Here we go.
Hold on. We're going to do this in an orderly.
They're going to do a couple questions real fast. Now, the problem with this is you can't hear the question. I watched this before, and the questions are pretty tough to hear. So she's going to try to answer the question if she can. That's a problem. Can't hear it very well.
So you're
You'll hear her
saying
answer.
it's better to ignore the provisions in our Constitution that call for free and fair elections?
So she's saying he's questioning her on this. Why are we letting the people decide if he's a bad guy? That he's asking the right question. If he's a bad guy, if Eric Adams is a bad guy and you're scared of it, why are you letting this happen? Right? Because what did she do? When it came to Trump, no due process. Just get rid of him. Don't let the people don't vote. Scratch the voting. Just go get him. 34 convictions, even though the election was coming. The election was coming that same year, if you remember, when she did not pardon Trump or tell Mr. James to stop. She didn't. Yes.
No, we have elections in our country and in our state.
We see, she didn't know. You didn't know that? We have elections in our country and our state. You idiots, don't you understand? She tell you this. You didn't know that. I have to ignore the provisions in the Constitution. I have to now sound all self-righteous now. I got to sound all self-righteous. Yep, there we go. So Mike goes, Larry, any fight except open border illegal aliens that violently continue to harm American citizens and businesses. Correct. That one she's not worried about. She is not worried about when 200,000 migrants came into our city with no plan whatsoever and are affecting, sadly, some of the poorest communities in our city. And then they built a migrant industrial complex that threw out the homeless veterans because it was more lucrative than the homeless industrial complex. Yeah, that's not that fight, Mike. That's not important. She wasn't mad at that. That was fine. That was totally fine.
What separates us out from places where they do actually have kings and dictators.
See, because it separates us where they have kings, dictators. See that? You're an idiot. She talks to you like she talks to us like we're stupid.
This is something I take very seriously.
She thinks
And
about it all the
it's up
time.
to the voters of this great city to determine who they want to continue as their leader or bring in a new
But it was
leader.
not
It
the
is
people
up
of
to
America
them.
for Trump.
That is
It's
a
not that.
sacred right that they have, and I will not deny them that.
Sacred. I won't deny them that. Sacred.
It sounded like you've spoken to the mayor. Are you confident he'll choose experienced professionals as opposed to sort of combative loyalists like Cass Daughtry, who reported mayor of public safety? If you could also
He's talking about, in case you can't hear him, he is talking about the idea of will Eric Adams just go back to the same old knuckleheads he's been going to? That's what he's saying.
characterize your conversations with him. What did he say? How do you feel about these proposed changes?
You can ask him how he feels about these proposed changes, but I explained that this is an opportunity to install safeguards that we need to have in place to give people confidence.
Because people
that
are worried.
There's only one
No one's worried.
factor in every decision that's made, and that's what's best for the people of the city. And
She
he has
says
to
nothing.
earn that. And there's an opportunity to do that. I also have a strong team here. They have incredibly tight relationships
Which means
with the mayor's team.
okay.
And that constant communication is part of
She's going to put her own friends in.
with the stabilization of the situation.
No, he said, are you confident that he'll pick the right people? She's like, no, I'm going to have my people pick the people. She's putting her own people in. She's going to put her people in. As I've said before, that's her strength. A lot of you are thinking, how can this woman be in power? She's clearly incompetent. She's clearly incompetent. She's incompetent as a governor, accurate. She's not incompetent as a politician. Oh, she's not. She puts her friends all over. Yes. Andrea says her cronies are worried the grift is up. No, they're not. She got it. She's good. She's good. Joel over on Rumble says, it's good to be a friend of Kathy. It is. You're not wrong. Joel, you're not wrong. You get a cool job. Ron goes on to say, dollars, Larry. All about dollars. It always is. Absolutely always is.
Fall, and why that's what we're shooting for right now. So he's offered to work with us if we have recommendations on people, et cetera. But I want to make sure that the commissioners stay as well.
Yeah. Shelley says, I'm actually surprised Lieutenant Governor Delgado hasn't taken steps against her. No way. She gave Delgado that position on purpose. He's young. Yeah, she gave him that on purpose. He's loyal, right? He's loyal. She picked the right guy for that. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Eventually, he'll get something good. He'll get something good, right? He will absolutely get something good. Like, she'll make sure if the next time a Democrat wins the presidency, he'll get a spot in, for being loyal, he'll get a spot in the cabinet, or he'll just stay lieutenant governor and make his cash and make his money on the side and have no expectation of doing anything. It's a cushy job. Yeah, he's going nowhere. This is a gravy train. He's going nowhere. No, he's going nowhere.
It's early.
Governor, so do you think that the mayor should resign on his own? And
She says, the question is, do you think the mayor should resign?
if not, do you think he has lost the ability to govern?
It is up to an individual to decide if they want to leave from office at any time.
Why do you take questions when you won't answer them?
You did not phrase my answer correctly. It is not up to me to tell them to leave. It is up to
It is your
an
power.
individual if they want to resign the office to which they've been elected.
Do you think that he's lost the ability to govern?
I am working to put in safeguards to restore the trust that is necessary.
Okay, here's the problem. And Mike said it and I said it. There's no loss of trust. It's not a thing. She's taking advantage of Eric Adams collapsing. So she's putting her people in to now control. That's what she's doing to make sure she controls New York City. Brilliant move on her part. That's great. Well done for her. Not just that, she kind of has to move now. Why? Because Trump just hammered her yesterday with the congestion pricing piece and the lawsuit. And she thinks like, we're attacking us. The us is the royal we. Like, they have insulted the queen, therefore we must all go to war. That's what's happening now. There's been an insult royal to royal, so now each nation must go to war over some insult that each one's perceived. I wish I was joking. I'm not. Nothing's happened to us in New York State. Trump hasn't hurt New York State. He hasn't. What's actually happened here? Well, what's actually happening is she got insulted. She's getting sued. We all have to pay.
To get this city back focused out of all this controversy.
There is none. No one in this city gives a crap.
And get people in New York City what they want. They just want normalcy again.
No, they don't want normalcy. They want people to not be set on fire in the subway. They would like that. They would also like the subway system to just work. That would also be good. They would like jobs where they don't have to have 2 or 3 jobs to survive. They'd like that too. They would also like something else. They would also like to have the rents not average $4,000 for rent a month. They would like that too. They would like those things. So you could work on those, or you could just keep yelling about how Trump is
And that's
bad.
what I'm fighting to restore.
Allie, in the back.
So at this point, is removing the mayor from office off the table?
They keep asking about removing the mayor,
I use the phrase at this time.
saying, see, I'll get rid of him if I want to.
I will never surrender power that I have.
Oh, she cannot stop self-reporting. She cannot stop telling on herself. She just can't stop telling on herself. She is so prideful. Look at the pride in her. She's so prideful. She can't stop telling on herself. There she is. I will never give up power that I have. I'm aware of that, Your Majesty. I am aware of
Is there
that.
anything that could happen coming out of the court hearings that would change your mind?
I'm not going to say at this time. I need to see what the court happens, but I also, as I said, it is my duty
It's her duty.
as the governor of the state to make sure I'm aware of what's going on, that if
Okay.
there's problems,
Yeah.
that I intercede, but otherwise, these are duly elected officials who
Duly
have jobs
elected.
to do as well.
That's the
Mark,
problem.
back.
Governor, the mayor and Tom Homan have discussed putting ICE back in Rikers.
Oh.
So with all these provisions that you're putting.
Now he's saying the mayor and Homan talked about putting ICE back in Rikers Island. And she takes some water for this one.
Forward. Would that stop that? What position would you take and what would you do to either allow that or stop that or any of the moves that they planned or hammered out between the two of them to do?
This becomes a question of whether or not that complies with the city charter and city ordinances. And that's something I'll be watching.
Oh, okay. Matt, thank you for being a member. To Phil, he says, by the power of federal grayskull, I have the funding. Nicely done. Yes, nicely done. She's going to have her sword up. Yeah, I like that. Very good. Mastermind, thank you again for being a member. Snitch or no snitching. She won't listen, Mastermind. She has to snitch on herself. She simply has to. She just can't. She can't not.
You want that to happen?
Melissa?
Listen.
Governor, you mentioned that this is subject to renewal at the end of 2025. What is the reason for that, and what situation would necessitate you continuing this past, potentially the mayor's term?
Ask me at the end of December 2025.
Yeah, she's just saying wait till the end. Wait till what happens. She's saying wait for the election.
Governor, the mayor has not answered any questions in the past few weeks about any of this stuff.
Yep, he hasn't
addressed the public recently. Do you think that he should answer questions and be held more?
What kind of question is that? Like, what? These guys are the press. Do you think that he should answer questions?
I'm not his communications director.
She's not
He
wrong.
wants to do more interviews, get out there with the people. I encourage him to just do the job.
Does he owe it to New Yorkers to do that?
Will you please virtue signal?
Ask a lot of questions by all of you. I will say this. It is most important, and I discussed.
I will say
Let's
this.
focus on public safety.
See
What
that?
we're doing in the subways is extraordinary. Crime is down.
See that? What we're doing in the subways is extraordinary. What we're doing in the subway. I mean, look, if you think about it, in the last 60 days, how many people have been set on fire? None. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. Last 60 days, not one person's been set on fire. Haven't been killed. I'm not going to say that. But none have been set on fire. So look at that. We're killing it.
Our plans to have
That was
more
a bad choice
police
of words,
is
wasn't it?
working overnight. Let's
It's
close
working.
more illegal cannabis shops. Let's get this.
Let's close more illegal cannabis shops because that'll solve the problem. Let's make sure that we punish more people who can't get jobs, who are actually doing a job that people want. Let's do that. That'll work.
Yes, jumpstart. Let's start making progress here. Build more housing. We have so much to do in the city. I want to just move here, but I'm not taking my eyes off the situation. I want
You don't have to. Nobody
you
cares.
to know that. My eyes are still on the situation.
Yeah, in the back.
Is this new procedure, Governor, have to be reviewed by the legislation?
That's a good question. It would have to be
She says, does it have to be reviewed by legislation?
home rule decision that the city council would propose, and then that has to be approved by the.
Damn, we doing home rule now? We doing home rule now. Trump is making everybody. Trump is turning all the Democrats and Libertarians. We doing home rule now. Do you hear that, Phil? We doing home rule now in New York all of a sudden. Where was that? Where was that? I don't know. We doing home rule now. Okay.
The legislature, yes, and I've had conversations with the two leaders
Damn.
already.
How long is it going to take to be?
I don't set their timetable, but I said it'd be effective immediately once it's passed. So that's up to the city council to take the first step. Then it'll go up to the legislature, which will be in session again shortly.
Because the cannabis shops. We'll get them. Oh, hold on. Phil says, I was going to fix the state, but then I got high. I was going to fix the jails, but then I got high. It's cannabis. It's cannabis is the fault. Yeah, that's the problem. She's perfectly. Andrew says, yep, pot's the problem. That's the problem. Fix that. That's the problem. Yeah, that's it. Yes.
2025. And in addition to that, how much has the potential entry of former Governor Cuomo into the mayoral race weighed on how you see?
She's asking how much does it matter that former Governor Cuomo may run in the mayor's race? Does that matter?
0.
And this would only apply in 2025?
Subject to renewal.
Morgan.
If former Governor Andrew Cuomo if he somehow wins the election, is this something we think about continuing?
Yeah, she says Morgan McKay. By the way, Morgan McKay actually also interviewed me when I ran for governor. She used to work for Spectrum News back in the day. She just says, "Hey, if Cuomo wins, are you going to get rid of this? You're going to keep it? Are you going to change the rules if Cuomo wins?"
I will look at the facts at the end of the year and determine what's best for the city. These are put in place as an extraordinary measure at this time.
Could you imagine if Cuomo becomes mayor and she's governor? Oh my God.
I understand that. Not since the 1970s with Mayor Abe Beam and Governor Hugh Carey, when there was a crisis that required that level of intervention. We are taking a number of steps that give us line of sight into budgetary matters, investigative matters.
So now you care about budgetary matters, investigative matters. Let me ask you, what's happened in New York? What's happened in New York City, New York State, to where now you have to look at budgetary issues, right? Legislative issues. Why now? What's changed? What between now and months ago? Why? What's changed? One thing only. Trump insulted her and sued her. That's it. That happened. Now I got to do all these things. But this was already happening, right? He got charged months ago. Remember everything he got charged with? He got charged months ago. Did she do it then? No. The city's been in trouble for decades. You do it then? No. None of that stuff. Yes. None of that stuff. So, Mike goes, Larry, you know she isn't calling any member of the press, so they have arranged who can ask questions and what order rigged. No, that's not how it works. What happens is one of her communications person, I mean, I guess it's rigged, but how it works is, and this has happened, Democrats have been doing this for a very long time. This is a way they've been doing it for years, at least 3 or 4 years since Biden. Since Biden's been president, it's been a common thing for most Democrats. How they do is their communications director is there, and that communication director points and decides who will answer questions. That's what they've been doing for a while. I don't know if Republicans do it. I haven't seen Republicans do it, but I've seen many Democrats do it since Biden. They've been doing it. That person decides, or the communication director gives a card and says, these are the people to ask in what order. They could do that, or which ones to ask, or the communication director literally points at them. Usually when Hochul does this, generally speaking, her communications director, he points or she points at who. Now, do they already have it arranged? I don't know. But do they pick it? Yes. So the communication director picks. I don't know if it's ahead of time or in a specific order. That I'm unsure. But yes, they pick it. That is how they do it. And it's been that way for a couple of years now. I don't know. I haven't seen Republicans. Republicans may do it too. I haven't seen it.
And legal matters to ensure that there's no area where any decisions can be compromised. That's what is necessary to give people the confidence to know that the right decisions are being made. And the mayor has to take the time to rebuild the trust with the people of the city. Those should go toward establishing people's understanding that there is other entities. The state of New York is keeping an eye on the situation.
Why?
Thank you.
What changed?
All of this is contingent on legislation. Have you lined up sponsors yet in both the state legislature and the council? And on the council.
So, user has been banned, says the press is basically the PR firm. True. Accurate. Absolutely true. Yeah. And then he's asking, have you signed up, have you set up people, sponsor your bill? What a stupid question. What a stupid question. Do you think in any way, shape, or form, if Governor Hochul wants a bill passed, everybody in that assembly won't go, yes, setting up people? That's a silly question. They'll do whatever she says.
Side, I've already spoken to multiple council members who are expressing discontent about you kind of punting to them. If you genuinely believe that there is concern about the mayor's ability to lead, why punt to another body? Is there nothing you can?
Yeah, see, this guy asks a very question. The same one of the other ones asked, so she doesn't answer. He says, if you believe there's a problem with the mayor, why are you, his words, punting to somebody else? What are you doing? If you think there's a problem with the mayor, you would do something. There isn't. She has to fight back against Trump. This actually has nothing to do with Eric Adams. Eric Adams was charged 3 months ago. 3 months ago he was charged, or 2 months ago. 2 or 3 months ago he was charged. Has nothing to do with Eric Adams. This is just against Trump because she was attacked. That's what that asking was. Doesn't make any sense. If you think he's a bad guy, you got to get rid of him or do something, right? Oh, no, it's not about that.
you by executive power to restrict what's going on?
You know, it's not surprising there's difference of opinion in the city council. There'll be difference of opinion up in the state legislature. It is the normal course of business. I have spoken to leadership of both the city council, the speaker.
They want to get rid of him.
To Majority Leader Andre Stewart-Cousins and Speaker Kyle Hastings.
They want to get rid of him.
Concept to them. This is an extraordinary measure. I acknowledge that. I don't expect me to propose it today and it becomes law tomorrow. It takes some time for people to understand what's behind it and have questions. And that's what a democracy is all about.
They're fighting.
I'm not ramming this down anyone's throat. I'm saying I believe this is a place we can go to reassure New Yorkers that the fears that I've heard from many of them will be unfounded
Everybody
because
says,
we have some systems in place.
There's been so much hope, but I have nightmares. I will absolutely have nightmares. I totally will. Absolutely. Yes. 100% I will.
That's what I'm trying to do, just try to stabilize the situation. And
There's no stabilization.
Specific sponsors lined up.
Well, since I'm just talking about it today, I've not taken the steps to line them up at this time, but.
What's plan B if they say no?
Burn it out, I'll cross that when I get to it.
There is no
I'm trying
plan.
to deal with what is a crisis situation. Got a few other things going on across the state as well.
I gave you a lot from her. She goes on later, if I can find a spot where she talks about it. Hold on, let's see if I can find it where she talks about it. If I can find it. She does talk about the corrections piece. She gets mad at them. She just yells at corrections officers, basically. She just says they're bad. She basically just says corrections officers are bad. I don't know if I have that piece here, but she does talk about corrections officers. So. Hold on. All right, here we go. This piece I'll bring up, the last piece I bring up. This is her talking about the corrections officers. She does bring this up, that she actually comes back to talk about it. Talking about the upstate prisons, what's happening, National Guard, all that stuff.
No, we're taking very strong steps to shut down what is basically a wildcat strike. The union itself does not condone this. We've been working closely with union leadership.
They're saying it's a wildcat.
Number of measures to ensure that the prison population, the existing guards who I praise them for showing up and doing their jobs. I truly do. These are tough jobs.
Right.
But also the incarcerated individual population as well as administrators. My job is to protect them. So we've brought in the National Guard to make sure that we're not short-staffed. We also have more being deployed if necessary. Started mediation as well to talk about.
So you finally started mediation, been years.
Their concerns and
the concerns I talked about in 2018, 7 years ago.
We can deal with the fact that there's a severe shortage of people who want to be corrections officers.
There's a severe shortage of people who want to be corrections officers. She admits it. For years, it's been broken. Nobody wants to be a corrections officer anymore. All the time I say it.
Officers in our state. That is a statement of fact, and that has become very challenging for us.
How long will visitation be suspended?
We want to, as soon as we get this under control, it'll be restored, but I'll let the Commissioner Beck.
So once we believe that the situation is under control, we are already in conversations with several different facilities and their local representatives about returning to work.
Talking about going back to work.
We
That's
are
it.
hoping to see that continue through this afternoon and this evening. But we do have National Guard in place, but until we have our full contingent of correction officers, visitation will be suspended until we are sure that it is
Visitation completely suspended. See that?
safe for both the visitors, the incarcerated individuals, and the correction officers. Thanks, everybody.
I also want to say
No visitation.
it was sickening to hear the descriptions of the charges being brought against corrections officers at the Marcy Correctional Institution.
So you just said nobody wants to be a corrections officer. You just said it's a tough job. You just realized that you wanted to go back to work, even though you're not really going to talk to them. You just started talking about working with them, even though I mentioned this, literally the videos on this 7 years ago, how bad it was. Now you're talking about it, and now you're going to insult them.
For an assault and murder that occurred in the first week of December. I went to the site. I was in the room where the murders and attacks occurred. It was shocking to know that this had gone on. And if it wasn't for some body cameras, Who knows if we would have known about it?
Who knows we would have known about it? So a guy would have been killed and we would have known about it. Again, exaggerating for no reason.
I've, at the time, began suspension and termination proceedings against these individuals.
Yes, as I said, no due process. None. Just get rid of them.
I also called for a complete culture study to find out what's going on.
Let's have a
And
culture
outside
study.
experts from other states.
Outside experts, literally what they said, don't bring in outsiders in, and she's doing it.
We also made sure that there's body cameras that cannot be turned off.
Phil says it. Why are only the CEOs in trouble? Because they're always the ones that are only in trouble. Correct. Yes. That's the issue. 100%. Guys, I know I brought a lot of this up because it drives me crazy. I gave you guys a lot today. I know. Let me, instead, if I could, ask you one more time. Please click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. I gave you a lot tonight. I went late tonight because I haven't come on in 2 days. I wanted to give you something. I will be on again tomorrow. Absolutely. Please click the button known as like. It does matter. Please repost this, as I tell you all the time. It does matter. Share it to the best of your ability. It does matter. Every little bit does count. It is important that we do this. I will be on tomorrow. And if you don't mind, I gave you about 2.5 hours of Kathy Hochul. Once this is over, please, in the chat, put in the chat, what was your either best or worst part of what she said or did? Best or worst, either one. That would be amazing. I'll be on tomorrow, probably at 7, maybe at 8, but I have more to talk about. Tomorrow, probably RFK Jr. Yeah, or maybe some other people like that. I will see you all very soon.